welcome in Lucky Lefty Podcast, Honora Boys in the building. We are brought to you by Honora Whiskey, honorawhiskey.com. We're also courtesy of Bleav Network and presented by FanDuel. After this big win on Sunday night, if you have a nightcap and you drink some Honora Whiskey, make sure, please, that you do it
responsibly.
Let's get it, Left. Lucky Lefty Podcast. I am SD2 Mike Sean Davis, that dude. What? That the original Lucky Lefty himself, ZAIRE. We are brought to you by Honora Whiskey, courtesy of Bleav Network, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify each and every day. Tap in audio edibles over there. You don't want to miss it. We dropped 3 shows this morning over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. FanDuel app. Notre Dame, 2.5 favorites right now as they face off against the Miami Hurricanes in Hard Rock Stadium, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. I'm excited. Clock's ticking, and while you're at it, you might as well hit that thumbs up right now. It helps with our views. Subscribe, Lucky Lefty. Man, you already know it's Notre Dame football. Fun, different. TikTok, Twitter, X, Instagram at Lucky Lefty Pod. Definitely tap in on TikTok and follow us at Lucky Lefty Pod, because Left during the season is going to be going live over on TikTok, taking questions, answering questions, and talking Notre Dame football. Tonight, coming up in just about 28 minutes, we have a very special guest. A very special guest. Can't wait to hear from the Fiesta Bowl MVP, national championship quarterback, the Dundada of all quarterbacks in my fandom at Notre Dame. None other than Tony Rice is going to join us in about 27 minutes. Can't wait for that great conversation. We're going to talk about the depth chart, Left. We're going to talk about a couple of things that Marcus Freeman said on the pivot. He was on the pivot once again. Great job. I love Marcus Freeman putting this brand all over the place. I love what he's doing. And on top of that, he spoke to the media today. If you have a super chat, get it in right now. Because, you know, once Tony Rice gets here, we're probably going to have him for about a good 45 minutes. If you have a GTB, put it in so we can get to it. But let's start with Coach Marcus Freeman, who met with the media. And since a week ago, we got the news that Notre Dame had its starting quarterback. And since that point, Left, we as a fan base have all pretty much been thinking. Sunday, you said there was no separation and you had no moment by which you can make a decision. You were looking for that moment. And then you get the news on Tuesday that there's a decision made. Well, Left, he met with the media today, and he had some pretty interesting comments. What stood out about what he said to you, Left, before we get to these clips?
Well, I think just a lot of his breakdown of how he came to these decisions is just enlightening to hear kind of his mindset on what got him to cross that path of which quarterback to take. And what we know from Marcus Freeman is that he's really good at getting behind the guy once he's there. So all of the stories that you're hearing about how prepared CJ Carr is and smart and gunslinger and all the things, I hope it comes into fruition in a way where it's not detrimental. I mean, a guy that is able to have the confidence or the overconfidence sometimes likes to take chances in inconvenient times. They talk a lot about that with Carson Beck wanting to play Superman. So if CJ is able to just stay in his pocket and still take those confident throws down the field, which we are dying to add to our offense, then we're going to be fine. So Marcus Freeman's breakdown of CJ and how he came to this, it's exciting. It gets the people going. It's just a little interesting as opposed to how he tries to talk about it as a separation between him and Kenny, like his head and shoulders difference, because it was the same up until a couple days ago.
Let's hear from Marcus Freeman. He talked about, as Malik said, you have predicted left that both guys will play. And Marcus Freeman said, we're going to need both quarterbacks this year. This is what Marcus Freeman had to say along those lines.
We obviously named a starting quarterback last week, CJ Carr. I think CJ and Kenny both improved in training camp, and that's what you want out of a competition. You want both guys to find ways to elevate, and I Bleav they both did. And I had to make a difficult decision, and I did. And as I told both of them, we're going to need both of them this year. Like that, you're going to need both of them, and they both have to be mature enough to handle that decision and understand they're chasing their full potential. No matter if you're named starting quarterback or you're the backup quarterback, you have to continue to work. That's not the ultimate goal, is to name starters to be the best version of you. And both of them will. Both of them gone to work. I'm looking forward to this first game and what CJ will do and leading our offense. And I'm excited for how our offense will continue to move forward.
Lock in, Left. What's good?
I just think that, you just got to trust what the coaches are saying at this point. I'm really excited to just see what Sunday looks like and what we roll out of the anticipation. I think it's a lot different to compare our first-time starter to their first-time starter in their program due to the fact of many different things included. Yes, he has more game experience. However, I think CJ has more chemistry and more time spent with those guys that he's going to be playing around. So I think that benefits CJ more so than Carson's anticipation of what he wants to happen and what he doesn't know he has yet. So I think Notre Dame's defense, particularly the secondary, is a challenging start to see what you have and what you're playing with. We're talking about two of the top corners in the country, along with the secondary as a unit being proven over the last 3 years. This is not the secondary you want to start your first game with a new team with. I'm sure if he took a Tulane or a lowly, I don't even, anybody but us, especially in the DB department. So for all these Miami fans that think somehow Carson Beck's 4,000 yards is going to flourish in the first game with a new team, I just think that's going to be a little far-fetched, considering they're going against our DBs who are considered some of the best right now. So that math doesn't math for me. However, I think that because of that, Carson Beck is going to turn into who he tends to want to be in those situations, and he's going to give up the loot. And we're going to kick off the Leonard Moore and Christian Gray season right with some picks and some breakups, some highlights. And then we can move from there. But overall, Marcus Freeman, you just got to trust what he's thinking at this point. Who cares how he came to it? He finally made a decision. And hopefully with Kenny, he can stay locked in. But this is the toughest job in America, to quote unquote stay locked in and be useful if and when you get called at the quarterback position, because there is no warming up when you get in, because usually when you get in, it's either garbage minutes where you have to play well, even when everybody's like kind of packed it in, or you play when everything's on fire, where nothing's going well, and you have to kind of ignite the fire yourself. So that requires extreme preparation week to week. That's probably rivaling the starter, except you don't get any of the benefits or you don't know when it's coming. So it's a very, very tough situation to be in especially if you thought you was going to be the dude or whatever. So my heart goes out to Kenny, man. I know he's going through it. However, Marcus Freeman and his plan with the offense, with Denbrock, I'm sure they can cook up something. I mean, Tyler Buckner's third on the roster, so knowing us and how we have our seasons, I'm sure Tyler Buckner will even make an appearance. But it's okay because he's won games as a starter, and he's had a journey Tyler Buckner's story is definitely going to be a one to remember.
Movie, right?
I think so. I mean, the man literally moved schools and came back. First of all, I didn't know you can do that. How many schools and programs will allow you to come back after having a whatever type of season I think it's a lot. And then for him to not only come back, but come back as a quarterback and then be listed third on the depth chart over the recruits coming in. And I mean, hey, don't count him out. He's like the Jeremy Lin. I don't want to say Jeremy Lin, but you know that effect of just he's in there, man. Jordan Faison's story is great. Tyler Buckner's story, especially if he goes somehow in the season, he gets in the game and wins the game. You're gonna be like, what?
Wow, right?
Wow. I mean, and I'm saying that because he's third on the depth chart at quarterback. I mean, that's super close to the field. And for Marcus Freeman, even his story with Tyler Buckner, you tell him in the hallway when he's QB in the QB2, QB1 that we're going a different direction. You can play lacrosse. You can leave. Oh, you want to come back to do school? Oh, if you want to come back, you got to play special teams and catch some punts and make some tackles. Oh, just so happens we need a quarterback to fill in with some experience. I mean, it's just man. But that's type of stuff, yeah, I mean, that's type of stuff he can take it to the league and be a Taysom Hill or whatever type of crazy stuff. But he has the most wins in the Notre Dame quarterback room. So that's a special kid. I'm excited to see just CJ just get a chance to get his feet wet, and fortunately for him, everything's in front of him. So regardless of what Marcus Freeman says, he's in a great position to be catered in a situation where you can look really good with not a lot of work. You just got to be good on your decision-making and smart with the football.
Marcus Freeman also talked about why he made the decision.
I hesitate saying this is why I made the decision, because what I don't want to do is look as like a positive for one guy and a negative for another. I think statistically is close to any quarterback competition I've ever been a part of. And I was looking for that to be the reason to make a decision, and it wasn't clear. They were both really, really good statistically. And I just had to make a difficult decision. And then I had to trust my gut a little bit. What I felt like we needed going into week one versus opponent, who will be able to handle that decision the right way. I think all those things played into my decision. But that's kind of it. That's a little bit of gray answer.
Go ahead, Left, because I got something to say on this one. Go ahead.
It's great because it's BS, dude. Like, come on. Like, you can't even explain it because it wasn't no logic. Or it's either some people made some group decisions, which is fine, or there wasn't logic to it. You just made a decision because they were both, you keep saying statistically even, but there's also something that has to trigger. I mean, you're the head coach of a top 5 team who just played a national championship, and you're giving us gray answers about the most important position that can take you from last year to this year. It's a little murky for me because I just want to know, if you can't explain what made you choose them, can you explain what's going to make you keep them? I mean, where's the continuity behind it? Because at the end of the day, somebody's got to be a winner, somebody's got to be a loser. So you can't say that. I don't know. It's. I have a lot to break down on it. So you go ahead.
Left, what grabbed me, as someone just put up in the chat, you felt like somebody would be able to handle the decision better?
Yeah, that's the
you
other
felt like
thing.
somebody would handle the news that they're not starting better than somebody else? That goes into the process of why that's the only thing that I had a problem with. I promise you. The first 2/3 of his explanation, I'm good. Good.
Yeah, or I thought it would meant
I'm
like
good.
handle. I thought he meant handle what all the hype and attention is going to be for game one, and CJ getting so mentally locked in and tough that he can. Because I didn't understand that either. Because I'm like, what do you mean he can't handle it? Because then you see reports of Kenny being disappointed, obviously, but what is not like? What's he going to jump off the deep end? Like, I don't understand what can't handle.
No. That's not the way I took it, Left. The way I took it was, I took it as, and I might be wrong, I took it as if he had gone in the other direction, it might have been more devastating for CJ to not start than Kenny.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that. Because I mean, look at how they've carried him to the finish line. I'm saying everything bringing CJ to the finish line. If he gets to that and they say, well, we're gonna go with Kenny, how many, like, what's the backlash to it? CJ's momentum is gonna be like, oh, let's go over here. They play tomorrow. You should be this and that. You da da da. Where Kenny was it just proves that Kenny was always underrated in this competition.
Left it was because it connects to what he said originally in the first clip, which was, we're going to need both guys. That doesn't sound like the way he was behind Riley Leonard last year. That's not what I'm getting. He's like, yo, we're going to need both guys this year at some point. However, if I had made, my gut is telling me that if I went the other way with this decision,
you would have lost.
I don't know how that particular young man is going to handle that. I'm confident that Kenny can take this in stride and still be good, because we're going to need him. He knows, and I'm going to play a clip in a few minutes where he was like, yo, how has Kenny been since everything? Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get to it right now. Let's get to it right now. Got a few more minutes before our special guest, Tony Rice, the legend, jumps on with us. This was interesting. He was asked, how has Kenny Minchey been since he got the news?
Exactly what I thought it was going to be. There's a disappointment that is a natural human reaction that any competitor is going to have when, they're not named starter. And he was disappointed. But I knew after a day or so, he was going to use it to make him a better version of Kenny. And that's what I've seen. He's come out and he's practiced, he's prepared in a way that you expect Kenny Minchey to do. And that's a sign of maturity, right? Like, I didn't expect him to be happy with my decision, but I did expect after a day or so to see the maturity of Kenny Minchey in terms of being able to go back to work, understanding delayed gratification. It's delayed gratification, right? Is that your job is to reach your full potential, and there's things you can do deliberately. You can use this as a motivator. You can use multiple different things as a motivator to put the work in, but he will be ready if his number is called, and I knew that when I made this decision.
If that's not the most hedging your bets ever type of statement, first of all, it just gets uglier the more you talk about it. Because now I'm like, wait a minute. So basically, you're like, your decision came to Kenny could be a good sport if I told him he wasn't playing. And that by being a good sport, if you keep up the hard work, even though you should, if you keep up the hard work, eventually after us delaying your gratification, you can use that fuel to maybe be ready if your numbers call. But because he's a good sport, I felt like that was why CJ could. I mean, that's just because what else are you saying? I mean, it doesn't sound right because none of it was about football. None of it was about, oh, he could throw the 10-yard out better. Oh, we got a better connection with this receiver. It was literally about he could take disappointment better. Man, you don't kick rocks with that. That's so crazy to try to under-explain what is over-talked about. Like, this quarterback competition is way too big for your final statement on what made your decision to be, well, it was even, but, Kenny's a good sport if he lost. So, we took the guy that was a sore loser. Like, I don't know what he's suggesting. Because then he turns around and says, CJ is so confident, he's sometimes overly confident. So if somebody's overly confident and they get disappointed, what does that say about that person? What are you trying to say about that person? You're saying the dude's so confident, you got to tell him that he's overly confident. Okay, so that means if you told him he wasn't starting, what does that tell you about that kid? That his disappointment would be bigger than Kenny's? I don't know. Like, there's nothing football that he explained to tell me that Kenny isn't the more serviceable or less serviceable. So
the
I don't
only
know.
thing, our special guest is waiting on us left, so we want to make sure we get to the great legend Tony Rice. But before we do that, left, I just want to connect to what you just said and say this. Sometimes as a coach, what you initially say is good enough.
Yes.
And whatever the media asks you, don't even allow them to keep pulling threads.
Yeah, because you're
on the sweater and cause things to unravel. Because
because you're just trying to
As soon as he said, "I made a gut decision," that was it.
That should have been
enough. That should have been enough. And the media kept asking questions, and now you start getting into, well, I felt like this player would have taken the news better. And
taking it better.
Now it's like it was crazy. So we'll talk about CJ Carr after Tony Rice joins us. Man, I'm super excited. Lucky Lefty fans, FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Tap in. And don't forget Bleav Network. Audio edibles each and every day. Tap in. Next up, the legendary Tony Rice will join us right here. Lucky Lefty Podcast. You already know, Left. We spin it different.
Rice taking off on the option and keeping it for a first down for Notre Dame. Rice on the roll is keeping it. Daylight on the left side. Rice busts across into Michigan territory at 21-yard run.
Rice rolling to the far side, and he has some running room to get the first down and goes to the 50, cuts it to the 45. What athleticism by this junior, all the way to the 35 of Michigan State. Rice on the move again. He keeps it to the 30, 25, 20. He makes it to the 15, the 10, 5, knocks down at the 2. Rice still the football. He's got some open field. That's what he's got. Adios. Goodbye. About that, 39 yards. You don't have to throw the football, Dan, when you can run it like that.
4 against this defense. Rice keeping it. He'll go for the touchdown. Again, the offensive line gives him time. He goes deep, gives nailed down the middle against McDowell, and he's got it. He falls down at the 25-yard line, or he would have scored. Rice to throw on first down. Has time. Waters open. He's got it. Out of bounds at the 4-yard line. Rice to Waters.
Ross told us yesterday, you can't be too wild. You got to key on your people.
Upton Rice wide open, streaking down the sidelines, and he's going to score. Touchdown. No flags, Notre Dame.
And Rice's first pass attempt. He breaks away from Parker, 45-50, and Rice is all the way 40, still on his feet, and tripped up at the 32.
Boy, what an arm for Rice running against his body.
Down the middle, complete to the tight end, and it's Derek Brown, all the way to the 4-yard line.
On 3rd and long, Rice.
To Ismail for a touchdown.
And Rice.
Looking for Green, he's open, and he's got it at the 27-yard line.
Now Rice back to throw. Has a man wide open.
Out of bounds goes Ricky Waters inside the 5-yard line.
He's the man who caught the 57-yard pass.
The fake, the throw, the touchdown to Frank Jacobs.
Welcome back, Notre Dame fans. Lefty Podcast, Bleav Network, FanDuel.com, FanDuel app. Tap in. We are in the presence of greatness tonight on the Lucky Lefty Podcast. I don't care what anybody says. Tony, you can shake your head all you want. You're going to get flowers from this man tonight. You're going to get flowers from this man tonight. Let me tell you something. People ask me all the time, Lef. I'm upfront with it. It's Sean, you've been a Notre Dame fan for a long time. Who's your favorite quarterback? It's like, it's not even close. It's not even close. I don't need stats. I watch the moments. I watch the big games. I watched when he stepped on the field when the other quarterback was supposed to be the bigger, the better quarterback. And he always rose to the occasion. None other than national championship quarterback. Fiesta Bowl MVP for the national championship, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. None other than 9. You just say 9 and everybody knows.
Hey, you
talking about.
You guys are way too kind. And thanks for the introduction. Thanks for having me on your podcast. You know, sometimes it's hard to find me. I can't find myself sometimes, but man, I'm glad you guys were able to find me, and I will be happy to answer any questions you guys want to, because you guys made me feel special by watching some of those clips. I was like, I haven't seen no clips in years. I said,
yeah.
It was like that.
You don't be checking them out. You don't check out your clips from back in the day, man.
No, I never do, man. I never do. People watching, they watch that 30 for 30, and I just sit there and relax. And this one guy looked at me, looked at the television, looked at me again. I was like, that's someone else. That's an imposter. That's
yes.
Oh, man, you guys doing okay?
Oh, we're absolutely wonderful. Hey, we're bringing flowers to you tonight. How are you doing? How's life going for you?
Life is great. I'm down here in Miami. You know, I'm in territory of the hostile people that, you know, the hurricane. But it's okay to have one Irishman down here and try to put things in perspective. But you know, I'm living day by day, enjoying life and enjoying all the things that Notre Dame has given to me as far as opportunities and rewards. And you know, I'm very thankful to be here.
Absolutely.
So right before you came on, we were discussing Marcus Freeman's decision coming out of the fall camp in the quarterback battle that everyone was talking about. I want to ask you and Lef. I'm glad I have both of you on right now. What was it like? Lef, I think you started. I know, Tony, you came in on the road against Pitt before you actually started. Lef, you started at home against Texas for your first start. Give me the backdrop. Tony, we'll start with you. Give me the backdrop on the first start, donning that gold helmet, which I call, that's, to me, it's the most important position in all of college football, starting quarterback at Notre Dame.
Yeah, you know what? Looking at it and looking back and reflecting back on, you know, we go to Pittsburgh, 4th game of the season. Terry breaks his collarbone. Tony, you're going to start. Well, I'm going to start what? Start sitting up the end or what? Because they never worked with me at all.
Right.
I played my freshman year because of Proposition 48. So here I am. I was like, what do you want me to do? He said, do what you did in high school. Go out and have fun. 2, 4, 6, 8 to the right, like always. 3, 6, 9.
Yeah.
Fullback is number 3. You know, Tim Brown covered with 3 people on, throw him the ball. So as you know, that year, Tim Brown won the Heisman. And then getting my first start the next week, they pounded me. I mean, they worked with me. Coach Curdelli was the quarterback coach at the time, and he's like, this is a speed course for you. But, you got to realize that we have a very short time, a window of time in order to work with you. And as you already know, people are not going to like you because you're the first black quarterback at Notre Dame. Like, wait, he's supposed to work with me now. Let me prove them wrong, which he did later on. But lining up behind the guard and being scared because you don't know what the defense is going to throw at you. You look at films and everything, but you know what? They're not really hitting you on films. But, looking at film again, when they hit you in real person, let me get that first hit out of the way. So once that happened, I just felt comfortable. And they thought that you think the real world is hard. Wait to get, in the classroom. The classroom is very hard, but then football is very hard too because we had to pull 3 jobs we were doing: school, study hall, football. And Notre Dame gave me the resource in order to get what I wanted to get as far as being a good student and athlete and being the best person I can. And I'm still continuing on, still learning. MALIK, I tell you one thing, I love watching him. He's a lefty. He looks so smooth throwing that ball. It's like, wow. They said I can't throw. I just option. I let him throw the ball, but I have
one option, man. I got huge appreciation for your ability to take that option game, man. It's not easy being no quick decisions, and you gotta be tough because you can get hit as the pitch man, even if you give it up the rock. So people don't know that you gotta be tough turning that corner. They play upfield. Sometimes you don't know. You just trust that like they got the block. Because when you turn up, you don't always see like when you're coming around that corner. And so you gotta be tough, man, to run that wishbone and all that. So I think that's so awesome you was able to do that in college.
Doing ever since I was in the 4th grade. And it left me. And Coach Holtz used to stop practice because he wants you to step at that 45-degree angle on your first step, the option. And he would blow the horn, and blow the whistle. Hey, stop it. Give me the ruler. Let me take a look at this. He says, I want 40. I don't want 44. I don't want 46. I want 45. So he just put everything I had to do right. And every time I used to come off the field from a play, I go right to the end of the bench. And he's calling the whole entire time. Come here. You got wrong on that, or you ran the wrong way. I said, Coach, did we get it done? He said, yeah, you did. Okay, that's it.
Yeah. We get it. Did the result happen? Because that happens a lot. Them reads happen fast, and you just got to make something happen. And you're like, well, we got the.
That little man, they say someone's always watching you. That little man is watching you. I mean, Coach Holtz is watching every move you make, and we're criticizing on Sunday that you feel this small right here. You can't handle it. But when he used to yell at me, I used to smile, kill him with kindness. My grandmother taught me that. Kill him with kindness, let everything go, and let it brush off. He's like, why is he smiling at me? I'm saying, I'm just thinking about bad things I can say, but I won't say them because you're my coach. They say the Lord is my shepherd, but Lou Holtz is my coach. So.
What an awesome time.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes, memories we'll never forget. And it'd be hard for people to understand what we went through, especially being a black quarterback, at Notre Dame. And you went through your obstacles and, trials and tribulations of, what the people perceive you to do and what they think you to do. You get out there and play football. Let us see how you work.
Yeah, because out of all that talking, you actually have to play. So, and then you have to play good. And, there's things that you find that you're really good at, and there's things that you like, I'm not going to try that in a live game because, like, dude, he get hit or something go crazy. It's just, it's crazy to say that.
And that's something that they can never take away from us, too. Playing at Notre Dame, being a black quarterback.
Yeah.
I can't change colors. God gave me this right here, and I'm very proud of it. So Notre Dame, like I said before, has done a lot for me. And, the new generation, they never heard of me, because it's been 35 years ago since we won a national championship. But hopefully later on in history, they'll read about, all the people that came across, like Joe Montana, Tommy Clemens and, Rick Meyer, all those, and yourself, because that's an elite group of people who played quarterback at Notre Dame.
Elite.
Oh, my God. I think about it, pinch myself every day and say, I'm one of the elite group of people who did that stuff. And
You won a championship. That's an even more elite room in the house. Like you a black quarterback that won a championship. I think you in there by yourself. I was trying to get in there with you. I didn't get the Everyone was trying to get in there with you. Look, we was close, but you got that elite single status right there. That's awesome.
They always say the defense wins the game for you. If we don't let them score, we'll win the game. Don't turn the ball over, like Coach Holtz always mentioned. We have a chance to win. Just follow my lead. You know, when he used to tell me that. Just, hey, be the leader. I remember one time in practice, he told me to yell at the lineman. That was the biggest mistake I've ever made that day. Because it seemed like they just let the floodgate go through and they all whacked me one good time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but he told me to say that. So I never did that again. So
Lucky Podcast, we had a great, legendary national championship quarterback, Fiesta Bowl MVP, Tony Rice, right here on the Lucky Lefty Podcast. Myself, Shaun Davis, and the original Lucky Lefty himself, MALIK ZAIRE. I want to talk about what you mentioned, Tony, and you know the NIL era that exists now, and a lot of people call it the Wild Wild West. Without social media, you had SMU scandal, you had Oklahoma and Texas with Marcus Dupree and coaches moving down to his hometown to recruit him, and it's like I'm like the Wild Wild West in college football in college sports in general has always existed, as far as paying athletes and finding unscrupulous ways to get them to come to your university. And then you have a rule in the form of Proposition 48, which everyone knows it was based upon standardized testing, totally unfair to athletes. But the majority of the time, those that receive the bad or negative side from it were African-American athletes. And there's no need to go in depth. I'm not trying to go in depth about that. But at a place like Notre Dame, because I look at guys like you, because you have represented Notre Dame and been a great ambassador for Notre Dame as a Prop 48 kid. And as much as we talk about the academic standards, it just goes to show, even those that might not have the resume according to what people stack up as far as being admitted to a prestigious program like Notre Dame, if you give certain people an opportunity, they will show you that there is greatness in them, and you are proof positive through the University of Notre Dame that someone that might not, outside of football opportunity, might not have the opportunity to be admitted, but when you got the chance, you showed on and off the field that you belonged. And that, I'm telling you, that is to be the national championship, great. My favorite quarterback of all time in Notre Dame, fantastic. What's even more important to me is that you seize the opportunity academically to better yourself, and you have been a great ambassador for the university moving forward in your life. That right there, that right there is bigger than anything, in my opinion, you've ever done on the football field. That what you did proved that other people deserve a chance, even if they don't look a certain way from a resume or application standpoint, because they can do it given the opportunity. So I tip my cap to you. I just want to know, what was it like, the feeling of Prop 48? How did you feel?
I could have easily given up. I could have gave up on everything and say, you know what, I don't deserve this. I could have went to another school and, you know, just being in that elite group of people. And I could think the people that we had, like John Foley and myself and Keith Robertson, who was a basketball player, we end up getting our degrees from Notre Dame. And for someone to say, given an opportunity, like you said before, given an opportunity to go and fulfill your dreams and do something and be the pinnacle of, listen, they didn't give me a chance in the classroom. But again, when I said Notre Dame gave me the resources, they gave me people to help me out in order to get to that next level. And that's why I love to be called student athlete. I was a student first because I didn't have anything to do with football. And I played 3 years at Notre Dame. football, but one of my best times were being a student because I had more interactions with the regular students than the football players did because they had their main job. The way I practice, I lift weights with my fellow classmates as far as my dorm mates, and I went that through football with them as my practice. It was never a team thing. It was like an individual thing. It's like, could you go run a route? And these guys could have been played ball at a Division III school, and they helped me along the way. And that's when I go back and I think about all the opportunities that I could have really given up. But then, like, spending 4 years at Notre Dame, understanding that I'm a Southern Baptist going to a Catholic school and my church lasts for 2.5 hours, Catholic church lasts for 30 minutes or 45. I thought that was cool. I didn't want to put my Sunday suit on and my Sunday shoes on in order to go to church. I can go to mass wearing shorts, which, we did that. So being one of those people that people focus on as far as not being able to play, something being taken away from you, that was the best thing that ever happened for me. Because it tells the telltale of, can you go through pressure as far as people labeling you, looking at you, like calling you a dummy that you can't do it. And it wasn't dealing with my grade point average, it was dealing with the SAT scores. And I said, well, just wait. I've been called worse by better people, they say. But I show you one day when I grow up. And Coach Holtz gave me an opportunity to do that. And then that's when you find out, when people start jumping on the bandwagon. We knew you can do it the whole entire time. I said, where were you when I really needed you at the age of 19 years old, which they never see me cry. I cried inside, and I felt bad for them. Because in my mind, I knew I was going to show them that I will be able to participate in the classroom. And by doing that, you got the last laugh. And it never says my grade point average on my diploma. It just says University of Notre Dame. And I always cherish that. And there's something that they can never take away from me, that I have graduated. And we have won a national championship at Notre Dame. Matter of fact, we're the last one. And hopefully one day, they say they had a chance last year, but that was last year.
We had a couple chances now.
You know what? And I was Pat Terrell and Chris George. I was like, man, they almost got it. They almost got it.
We right there. I think Marcus Freeman's in the right spot. It's just, what's your thoughts on Marcus Freeman? Do you get, I wouldn't say Lou Holtz vibes, but do you get that presence that Notre Dame is the important part of the conversation when it comes to college football because of Marcus Freeman?
I think he has the same traits as him, as far as like the doing the right thing for his players. And this goes back to NIL. I would love to spend 4 years at a college rather than spend 1 year, so you don't really get to play with those players for 4 years to grow together, to form that team. So I feel bad about that aspect of it. But he's doing whatever he has to do for the university, and obvious he's doing something right. You got to win in order to recruit. And it seems like he's a player coach. The players believe in it from what I see. I have not spoken to him. Hopefully one day when I have an opportunity to just go shake his hand and say, keep doing what you're doing. You got our blessings that you are doing the right things for the university and the lady on the dome and for his players. Just be there for your players, because sometimes they're going to need you. It doesn't have to deal with football. Just everyday life. Everyday life is hard sometimes. You think real world hard? They went to the school is hard too, but mom and dad is not there for you anymore. So he's trying to point his players in order to do the right thing and represent the university. I don't know how much he yells in practice at him. Seemed like he's a very cool guy, that he doesn't lose his temper. But Coach Holtz seemed like he's very cool, but he lost his temper a lot.
Yeah, he lost his temper in practice.
I'm glad that's the direction I want to go. Let's insert Coach Lou Holtz. Pretty devastating loss. You come in at 87. You start the rest of the season. You guys go to the, I believe, Cotton Bowl. You face Texas A&M. You lose 35-10. Your teammate Chris Zorich, your good buddy, crying in the locker room, and he didn't play one down. That's just how much it meant to him. And we know the outcome of the next season. I want to go to right after that loss up until kickoff of that opening game against Michigan. What was the spring like? What was the fall like? What shifted and changed within the program and the mindset of you guys to ultimately do what you did in '88? Like, what was that like?
You had a bunch of young guys, and being a sophomore at that time of '87, then come in junior year, still very young, on the football field. You've never seen a crowd more than 10,000 people before in the stadium. And now I got to experience that at Notre Dame. Now coming off that season, '87, it's like, who's going to start? Kent Graham and we came in there together. As far as, I was 1 year ahead on the football field. We came in together. Classroom, I was 1 year ahead of him. So they didn't announce who was going to be a quarterback until almost like the first game almost. And I happened to fill that position. But then he really pushed me to be the best quarterback to be out there, even though he was not an option quarterback. He was more of a passing quarterback, and Pete Cordelli was my quarterback coach, and Coach Holtz was there. So I had three people I was learning from my mistakes, what I should have been doing. And then with Kent Graham, that's when he ended up transferring because he knew he was going to get a shot no more because I was directly on it, and he transferred to Ohio State. And I spoke to Kent many years, and he has a national championship ring and everything. We were talking about that, and and he's a part of the people that helped me along the way. He said, never forget the people who help you across the bridge. He's one of those people that did. But we played each game like it was our last game. We didn't know, and we didn't really listen to, and I know I didn't, the polls and bowls or whatever numbers you're going to come out to be, what numbers you're looking to get. Just win every game. And when it got down to the Miami game, I think we're number 4 and Miami's number 1 in '88. And we beat them, and then we moved up. But we played a lot of teams that were very caliber, the top 20 that were able to do things. But we knew if we take it one game at a time, like we always say we do, but then I'm not a loser. I know if I don't turn the ball over and the defense didn't let them score, we win the game, like Coach Holtz said. And I'm a strongly believer in Coach Holtz because he pointed me to say, listen, think like me on the football field. Think like you. I'm thinking about once we start winning and everything, and hey, the next person getting there, what we're going to do later that night and stuff. But then when I'm on the field, it's totally mindscape. It just goes right at it. And leading up to that game against Miami, and I'm glad I live down here now because they're going to bring up the Catholics versus convicts while Notre Dame plays against them on Sunday at 7:30. And I'm glad to be down here that they can come down here, Notre Dame people, and then we can wear that shirt, Catholic versus convicts, which we had more convicts than I think they did.
Said we was dressed up as the Catholics. We was dressed up when we was really the other team.
Yeah.
What was that like, though? I mean, like you said, it was a team that was a little rough around the edges a little bit, but what was it like when you're playing these Florida teams, you're playing in Miami, what's that interaction like from outside of, they do the outside looking in, they build the convicts versus Catholic, but what's the inside looking out going against the number 1 team?
It's just like this right here. And I think about it because I still talk to Steve Walsh, who's the quarterback. Steve and I spoke last week. We're getting together on Saturday just to give it a shoot the bull. But if you look at it, they say like the Wild E. Coyote and the sheepdog. When you're in that match and you're fighting, when it's all over and done with, you shake hands and we just put our pants on like they put their pants on. And we talk about it and have a good time. And, we got the little bragging stuff. Hey, you should have beat us, but you didn't. But playing against those guys, they brought the best out of you because they were the best. They were like Alabama a couple of many years ago.
Oh, they were the Alabama at that time.
Yes, yes. And I tell you what, they got 2 national championships in 3 years. That's
They was whooping tail, yeah.
hard. It's hard to do that. To them focus each and every day. And they had the longest winning streak, 38 games that they played. So, you know, they paved the way for us to want to be like them. And
that's big now. That's big. You saying this on the platform, they're gonna run with it, and they want to. But okay, so we was aspiring to be dominant like that.
Yes, I tell you what, you put the other man up. You put him up now. I tell you what, slowly you start chipping away. Here I am. We're number 1 now. So, and again, I'm looking at the whole full season of that. It all starts at taking one game at a time. And then I never wanted the game to end. The last game against West Virginia, you know, Major Harris and I going at it, 2 number 9s. The first time 2 black quarterbacks ever be in a national championship team playing against each other. And that's one thing that I look at too about, God, the road that we traveled in order to get what you want to get. And that's the top level of it. And you had to knock some people down in order to get it. But then you build them back up because that was a very good team that year. Major Harris was one of the best quarterbacks. I had a chance to meet him at the Heisman Trophy Awards, even though he got 3rd and I got 4th. So if you ain't first, you're last. So I think we both got last place. But a very cool guy.
First, yeah.
That was memories.
This is crazy.
Never take away.
Tony, just so you know, Left and I, so MALIK, as we went to the playoff last year, MALIK said this would be the greatest Notre Dame team of all time if they win the championship. And I just sat there and let him talk. And he said, no, you have to understand this uncharted territory. No one ever had to win 4 games in a row in a playoff to win a championship. And I said, Left, I promise you, I understand the challenge. You're right. It's uncharted territory. I said, but brother, I watched a team beat 1, 2, 3, and 6 and number 8 in a season. Like, in the regular season, not a playoff. I watched them start off in Michigan. I watched them then go and beat Miami. I watched them like, yo, the schedule in 88 was absolutely bonkers. Beating 5 top 10 teams and then ending it with West Virginia, which was, you know, one of the shocking teams that no one saw coming that year in the Fiesta Bowl. I want to dig into some of these games in 88 because I think 88 is you already told us what changed from 87 to 88. Let's start with that opening night. That night game was, man, electric.
Michigan.
Left, you had to be, I'm a teenager now. The little kid in me is jumping up and down right now, just talking about it, bro. CBS, Brent Musburger, you know, the traditional open, it had you hyped. And I'm sitting there, and you guys started off. In Michigan games with Notre Dame seem to always go this way. One team would jump out early. The other team would show resilience and come back, and then it will always come down to who can make the plays in the 4th quarter. It seemed like it was like that every year. And this was no different. And somehow, some way, Michigan seized control late 2nd, 3rd quarter, and then the 4th quarter, you guys were able to come back. And you look, Reggie, I talked to Reggie. He was there. I think Reggie. He was on a recruiting trip. Tony was on the team, and he was like, "Yo, that game." He was like, "I don't know how they played the next week. The physicality in that Notre Dame Michigan." He was like, "How do you start off game 1 with that level of physicality? Like both squads were ready to play."
Check this out. It's so funny that you said that. You brought that up because you set the scene under the lights. That's the first time I ever played under lights at Notre Dame. Under the lights, you know, we starting off. But we had one key player that was a very successful guy that day, and that was Reggie Holt. Reggie Holt kicked 5 field goals in that game. I couldn't get it in the end zone. But we had a little guy who's 5'5", 128 pounds, kick 5 field goals for us to win it. And they had Mike Gillette, who was a kicker from Michigan, missed it. I see the Juan Francisco wide right. We won the game. And that was a very close game. At the first game of the season, Michigan was no joke. And the next team, the next team after that wasn't a joke either. But Michigan really came to play that game. And I had a chance to meet with Mike Gillette, who was a kicker at the time. And the one thing I said to him is, I'm glad you choked. Because I'm pretty good. He lives in St. Joe, Michigan. And it's not that far from South Bend. So I was like, I'm glad you choked and everything. So shut up, Tony. But that's what it's all about. Once your career is over, it doesn't matter what sport you're in, you still unite with some of the people that you read about, that you played against, were teammates, and we just pick up where we just left off. Like MALIK and I haven't talked to him in a while, but it's good to see him because when I was smiling when I listened to you guys was talking earlier before I got up. You guys are doing something positive. You guys keep doing that and keep on having guys like myself and I get Chris George. He's one of the best because you guys are building something. They'll come. And I'm glad you guys were able to get in touch with me. And I tell you, if there's anything I can do for you, just let me know.
Yeah, I would call you. I would call you. I got your number.
Oh, yeah.
So we go from Michigan. And, of course, like you said, look, man, what in the world were you guys thinking back in the day? Because people forget. Let me educate you young Notre Dame fans that have no clue. Notre Dame would have to play Michigan and Michigan State back to back. George Pearl is his teams. If you thought Bo Schembechler's teams were physical, the highlight I played, the 2 runs you made against Michigan State, you put Percy Snow on his back, you juked him so bad in one of those clips. But
now Percy Snow lit me up a couple of times too.
Yeah.
All one time, I'm like, man, he's from Canton, Ohio, and my roommate was Dean Brown. Mm-hmm. Dean Brown went to Kent McKinley with Percy.
Oh, okay. So Percy
and everything. And he's like, got a little mouth and everything. Like, I'm going to get you. And his brother Eric played at Michigan State, the basketball player. But those guys, you never know who you're going to run into. But that team, hard-hitting team, and at that time too, I think they had Tony Mandrix too, who was on that team. With he did the Sports Illustrated with the steroids and stuff. He was one of the biggest guys I've ever seen on a football field. And we had
he was that
big, huge. I mean,
you should have known right there. Like this ain't fitting. He's doing something else. Man.
Glad he did not play defense. He played offense. So, but looking at that game, like you said, that was 2 hard-hitting teams. Michigan State playing up there. It's like, wow. You cut across the grain and you look at the field. They added sand to the field because it was kind of an old field. They had turf. So they had put sand out there. And you see the sand just coming up when you're running. But you always look slow running on turf than grass. I thought grass you look slow. But turf you look even slower. When you showing no clips, I'm like, man, I'm kind of slow there. I don't know what's up with that. But
so you guys go on to beat.
I'm sorry.
You guys go on to beat Purdue. You pretty much slaughtered Purdue and Stanford after the first 2 tough games. Remind me, I want to put a pin in Purdue. I have a funny story that I got on Reg about in the '89 game at Purdue. We're gonna get to that coming up after we finish the '88 season.
Okay.
And then you guys, now watch this. This is so funny because the theatrics for the Miami game, October 15th, really began the week before October the 8th, because Michigan has a 20-point lead on Miami at the Big House the week before they played you guys. And
they were bleeding.
Dude, okay. I am rooting for Miami. I am literally rooting for Miami in the 4th quarter. Like, no. Do not lose this game. Do not lose this game. And Steve Walsh goes crazy in the 4th quarter. Miami just goes crazy. I'm like, yes. and you guys are blasting Pitt. Were you aware that was going on in Ann Arbor?
I wasn't aware of it until, that's when we did the 30 for 30, because we had some of the guys from my dorm went up to see that game. And they were hoping.
Oh, okay. They was hoping they would, yeah.
Shirts and everything. If they would have lost that game, we'd played them, the shirts would have never been made.
Yeah, it would have never been made, huh? Wow.
That game really, put Miami on the map, and that's why it became the Catholic versus Convict.
That's why it became,
So,
wow.
Well, we didn't know exactly what was going on because I was so focused on my game. And in the game, you hear about what happened. Did you hear what happened? You see, no, hell no. We got a game to play ourselves, man. Miami.
So I think about other stuff. Yeah, no, you get your head knocked.
Yeah. But that was a good game, like you said. That was a very good game. Miami came back to, and Steve Walsh played his butt off. So
yeah, he did, especially late in that game.
Yeah. When you're in the season, though, what was different when it came to finishing? Because you want to take every game one game at a time, and we've been close to the championship, but have missed it. What was so special about you guys where y'all could finish those big moments? Because that's usually where we fail in these bigger games.
I don't know. I think we all have the same mentality and same attitude that you want to win all the games you play, and each team, each player can say that. But it was something about that 88 team that, wow, we had a bunch of guys that were playing out of position in order to make the
team. You got to put guys playing out of position.
Yes. Like we had Frank Stamms who came in as a fullback. Then they moved him to defense guy who was an All-American.
Okay.
We had Pat Terrell came as a quarterback. And we moved to receiver. Then they put him at free safety.
So Lou was in there just mixing and matching. He was like, man,
the right people out there that can order to make sure that the team has what it needs in order to win. Because they didn't put me in the other position because I never played any other position my whole entire life. It was just a quarterback. So, if they ever ask me to go out there and try to catch a pass, which I can, because, we're all athletes, they say. But, I don't want to do that. I want my hand on the ball.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not trying to do that.
So, with that being said, with those group of people that we have, because we had some people that with Coach Fouts' class that brought in, and then here you have Coach Holt's class. And he finagled and got everyone together, and it's like, some position going to be fulfilled by other people, and you got to find your position in order to play out here. We'll try, and we'll let you know when we need help at. Mike Stonebreaker, he's been a defensive guy the whole entire time, but I look at Pat Terrell as one of the best athletes out there that can move from quarterback to receiver to free safety and play for the Rams. Coach Holtz knew exactly where to put him at, and he worked his butt off in order to have that time to shine and have that time to participate on the football field.
Now, for you being the quarterback that you are, I think it's special that, when you do the option system, you become a lot more of a selfless player and you know how to play with your teammates. What was something that for you that carried with you that allowed you not to take the mindset of, I have to be Superman in this moment? I can stay, I can trust my teammates, I can do the things that I need to do to win, and it be less about, I got 4,000 yards and 6,000 touchdowns.
Yeah, sometimes not sometimes, but it got to be all the time. You can't be selfish. I could have kept the ball the whole entire time. But I'm not selfish.
Hey, tell him, I could have kept it. Like
I could have told, hey, coach, what I thought and what you thought was totally different, because what I saw was totally different.
I would say, absolutely.
But I had a goal. My goal was to put my team in the right situation. And with that being said, I knew that there were some times that I'm going to mess up. I'm not perfect, and there are some times that we all mess up. But then I just have to worry about one position. That's my position. Make sure I put my team in the right situation, put the ball in it, the fullback, read it. If it mess up, just don't turn the ball over. That was one of the main focus, the main thing that Coach Holtz mentioned. Don't turn the ball over. Whatever you do, and I guess when we play against Miami, a crucial time, did I turn the ball over? So I let him down.
Yeah, it's like crushing. It's like crushing when you lose the ball because it's like everybody hopes and dreams.
So
And then you
just let the error, you're just sitting there, it's like, wow, why did I do that? And then that's when you run to the end of the bench and Coach Holtz finds you and start yelling. And he said, don't worry about it, son. We'll talk about it on Sunday in practice. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Lucky Lefty podcast. We have the great Tony Rice, Notre Dame legend, national championship quarterback, Fiesta Bowl MVP, right here with us. MALIK, ZAIRE, SC2 Mike, SHAUN Davis. Let's get through 88 so we can get to 89 and some other questions about the 2025 team, Tony.
okay.
You guys, you beat Miami, Air Force, Navy, Rice, Penn State, another great game. The game in 88 wasn't as compelling, but that 89 game up at Beaver Stadium was, yeah, we'll get to that in the 89 season. And then the last two games, let me tell you something. I'll never forget this. I have never been as left, I promise you. The most nervous I've been heading into a football game as a fan was number 1 Notre Dame heading to the Coliseum to face number 2 USC.
Yeah.
3:30 kickoff in the East. And I am like sitting there like, I know we beat Miami, but man, we got to win this game. And then the news breaks the night before. This is funny because I've actually talked to Wes Pritchett and a couple of defensive guys, right? And they're like, yeah, we told coach we don't need him, send him home. And I'm like, I wonder how Tony and the offensive guys felt. Like, you're sending one of your best offensive players home. I wonder how Tony felt. How did you feel when you found out Ricky Waters wouldn't be playing in the game?
Being a junior, and we were out in California. Those guys tried to make it back. They didn't actually make it back in time. So I was the only underclassman to go in there. And Coach Holtz called me in there. He's like, you got to make a decision with these things. You're the starting quarterback. Listen, this is what happened. What do you think? And I'm thinking, it's like, let them play. No one's perfect. That's what I'm thinking. I said, we really need them. Everyone else, the upperclassmen, was saying, no, you know what? They were late. They got to be punished. And here's what should happen. And Coach Holtz mentioned that, hey, we're going to put them on the plane, send them back home. And I thought he set an example that no one was late anymore after that. But then, we all are not perfect again. I think he should just waited, because those guys are caught up, like the Proposition 48. People will never forget that game against USC when you have 3 people that were late, but 2 people that were sent home, Tony Brooks and Ricky Waters. So that's when Mark Green, and because our backfield was unbelievable, we had people waiting to play. It's like, wow. Dorsey Levens was part of that group too, ready to play because of the talent that we had. If someone goes down, we'll never miss a beat. So when that was being said, I was like, damn. But then when I stepped on the field, I forgot all about that because I have to focus on one thing only. Know my role in the team. Coliseum, going to be loud. Let's hush them up. And I didn't say nothing out loud to the team. Let's hush them up. In my mind, I didn't hear the crowd. I heard, I heard Coach Hill say, hey, don't forget about that 45-degree angle. Don't forget about get a good fake to go back. We kind of alarmed them when I threw that long pass to Rocket Ismail. Keith Jackson said I stepped out of bounds, which I was far from being out of bounds. So that one really, took the tone because they never thought I was going to pass on the first play of the game. And then a couple plays later on, I ran the ball 65 yards. And I keep on telling people it gets better and better each and every year. It's going to be 105 yards in another 5 years that I'm going to say it's like that. But, going out there and playing, and it's like, wow, You got an awesome quarterback, which is Rodney Peete. You playing against Rodney Peete. You playing against Junior Seau. You playing against Curtis Conway. You know, you playing against all those great players from USC. You see them on television. You think about Hollywood. And here we are, Ben, in poor South Bend, Indiana, going out to California and play on, it was the Thanksgiving weekend. And we ended up beating them. And I love it when they came out of the locker room, they start doing this right here for victory. We still say it's their number 2. So we're number 1, they're number 2. But I don't know. That game, just those guys being sent home. But we had guys to step up in the forefront and make things happen.
Yeah,
Right.
It was absolutely left. It was a great game. Once they broke the ice, though, it was early. Like, I went from nervous to like middle of the second quarter, like, oh, we got this.
We got this.
Yeah, we got this. Like, we got this. Because you could just tell. You could just tell that they were just, I think both teams were kind of uptight early because it was a huge game. Yeah. And I think you guys hit the 2 big plays. The pass to Rocket on the deep pass and then your long touchdown run. And then they turned the ball over and you guys capitalized. After that, once you guys seized control of the game, it was pretty much because they gave Rodney Peete the blues. The defense gave him the blues all day.
I tell you what, one thing too, I was just thinking about, Stance Magala intercepting the ball, running it all the way down the sideline. And that was a backbreaker for them, I think, because Rodney Peete was a quarterback, but Stance Magala, the fastest on the team, as a white boy, he was the first one white boy, but that guy.
Yeah, he was bad.
Oh yeah.
I'm still interested too because I wanted to ask the question because I wanted to get that feeling. What was the immediate feeling like? What was going on right after you won? What was that weekend like? That trip home, back home, and then just winning it. What was that experience like? That first.
They probably wanted to stay in LA and party. They probably wanted to.
We did for one day. We did. We stayed out there. Hey, somebody wants to go back. They say,
yeah.
I said, okay. Most of us, we were 21.
Yeah. Okay, so after the game, it was a national championship celebration.
That was a celebration right there. But we did come back home to South Bend, even though we got back, it was cold as can be. And sunny California. But we all had a great time. And again, I sit back and think about it. It's like, wow, we did. We went through that whole season undefeated. For a game to play. And you think about, a lot of people doubted us. They said it was not our year. 89 was going to be the year. And Coach Holtz did it in 3. So we had opportunity to do it in the 4th. We would, we'll talk about it later.
We could talk about it. Yeah. I would, of course, you guys go to the Fiesta Bowl. I'll be honest. I have all my friends were mad because it's New Year's Day. The entire neighborhood is up at West Pullman Park for our annual New Year's Day football game. Everybody met up there. Everybody's like, "Where's Sean?" I'm like, "Yo, no names on." Like, y'all, I can go play. I'm missing the game this year. And I went from being the most nervous to sitting in front of this West Virginia game, like, "Oh, we about to smack these dudes." Like, this is easy. This is easy work. This is easy work. That's how I felt. I know that's not how you guys approached it. And I know Coach Holtz didn't allow you to approach it that way, but I felt confident about the game. But after what you guys have been through in the leading up to that game, there's no way you didn't go into that game with supreme confidence as a team.
We did, but I look at more of this too. I didn't have anything, speaking on my half, I didn't have anything to worry about. I think it was Major Harris that had all the pressure on him. Because they wasn't really focusing on me as far as, they take the 2 black quarterbacks and everything. They're both number 9s. But Major Harris had the statistics, the stats, and he was an overall all-around player. And he was the team for West Virginia. They had a good defense, but Major Harris was the guy. But if our defense stopped them, which they did, It's like, man, we have a chance. I didn't think we were going to lose, but then I was happy that the pressure was on him instead of me.
So you guys win the championship. Let's go ahead, fast forward to 1989. Because I'm going to ask you a question to start this conversation.
Okay.
Which team was the better team? We know you guys won the championship, but if you take a step back and just look at the talent and roster, was the 88 team better or was the 89 team better?
I would say 89. And the reason why 89 is we were Coach Holt's class. It would have been better to me. Don't get me wrong. I want to win both, both years. But 89, and I think that's where people are looking at that this is Coach Holt's squad that he brought in, handpicked to go there, which still people were moving around different positions. But we had it. We just let it slip away. And I think one of the things, well, a couple of things that happened, but if Coach Holtz would have let us fight down there in Miami, instead of telling us don't fight, he's going to retire, that would took the edge off of everything. We had momentum going like, hey, we in their house. We're going to take something away from them. And then when Coach Holtz said, hey, no bad mouthing, no fighting. You do that, we're going to resign, and you'll never play again, too, blah, blah, blah. And we just came in there timid. We came to their house timid, and we couldn't do anything because, we let them have what they wanted. Here it is. You got the win already.
And it's crazy because even though you guys, I've heard you talk about it, I've heard Reggie Brooks talk about it. Oscar McBride has talked about it. I've talked to several teammates about that game. They all echo the same sentiments. And it was still a 10-10 game at halftime. And it still took a 3rd and 27 conversion for them to ultimately break the game open. So,
was it 3rd and 43? He got 44?
Yeah, it was something crazy.
Yeah,
I might have the numbers wrong, but it was like almost impossible. Right? And then they convert. And it's like, are you kidding me? Yeah.
I thought, wow.
Because you're getting ready to go back on the field, right? You see 3rd and long. You're strapping up like, okay, we're about to get the ball back.
Yeah.
And they convert.
They got 44. I'm like, no way.
Yeah. Yeah. That was crazy. So before we get to that Miami matchup, 3rd week you guys faced Purdue in 1989. I literally just watched this game like 3 days ago. And I hit Reg and I said, Lou Holtz is one of the pettiest coaches I've ever seen. And he said, what are you talking about? I said, you guys scored on the first 2 series. And it was like 3 minutes left in the first quarter. And he put Rick Meyer in. And it was 14-0. I was like, it wasn't like they were up 20, up to a blowout. It was 14-0 in the first quarter. And Rick Meyer's handing off to Reggie Brooks. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is so disrespectful. I'm like, Coach Holtz is so disrespectful. This is crazy. It is 14-0 in the first quarter, and he has the second string in. Ray Griggs is like, I think Rick Meyer threw a deep pass to Ray Griggs. He almost had it, dropped it at like the 5-yard line. The second string almost scored. I'm like, Coach is just petty right now. Coach Holtz is just being petty right now. Do you remember that game? Like, what are you guys thinking? Was that just par for the course, or you like, what Rick's in?
That's all? That's all I got? I got to play no more? He said, well, it's a team playing here, we got this, don't worry. But I'm like, go ahead. Hey, you're the coach. I just listen to what you tell me to do. Wow. I couldn't God, man. You remember that. You saw it, and you're just like, wow.
Yo, I immediately saw it, and I said, Coach Holtz, I've never seen this. I've never, ever seen anything like this. This is crazy. 14-0. He's like, yeah, put the second string in. It's crazy. And I skipped over one of the biggest moments of 89. Man, first, you know what? I was mad when you guys were up in Michigan to start the season. I was mad. Let me tell you why I was mad. Because it was sloppy. I was like, we're an option team. It's raining, it's cold, it's sloppy. I already knew it was going to impact the offense. I already knew. So I'm like, oh man,
You're right.
You guys, it was pretty much just a typical Michigan game. Physical, back and forth defense. You guys get the little jump for the touchdown early out the backfield. And then Rocket just took over. Rocket just took over. And after that, it was a wrap.
Yeah.
I think they even brought in there. They had a left-handed quarterback, the brother.
They had
Demetrius.
They had
Demetrius Brown. Yes.
Michael. Oh my God, I forget his name. Michael something. Yeah, Demetrius was left.
And did Gerback come in late in that game?
I think he did.
I think Gerback did come in late in that game.
Yeah, because I remember they had the dual quarterbacks and everything. Demetrius was left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Taylor.
Yes. Michael Taylor was starting quarterback for them that year. You're right. Man, you got those some talented and deep teams, man. Those some talented deep teams. People don't realize, Notre Dame fans, you young Notre Dame fans, go, hit the YouTube, do your research. I'm telling you, the teams in the late 80s and 90s that Notre Dame had an opportunity to face, the teams that you might feel like aren't good, like Michigan State isn't that good right now. Michigan State now is totally different.
Yeah,
Michigan State today, even Michigan, it's totally different. A different level of physicality. Well, Jim Harbaugh kind of brought it back, that physicality, but that's what they were every year.
Hey, Sean, you know what? It dawned on me that I can remember what goes on 35 years ago. I can remember what happened yesterday.
Wow.
And it's just like I'm playing it back over again. You start when you're asking questions, you start talking about, and then my mind just goes. For me to remember two quarterbacks from a different team, played against, and we played up in Michigan. That McMurtry too. They had him at receiver.
McMurtry was bad. That was a bad dude.
Yes.
And I think they had Desmond Howard was 90. That was his freshman year, I believe, 90.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he got that much playing time. I think he got more of on the special teams more than anything else.
Yeah. And I remember a guy that I knew because I'm from the south side of Chicago. I was very familiar with Corin Brown. So when I saw him trying to dive for Rocket, come up 7 yards short, I'm like, oh, you're gonna get talked about this summer, Corin. That was bad.
He was bad. About at Notre Dame. When he was coaching at Notre Dame, I had a chance to sit down and talk with him. And we were talking about this. I would say, we see you on the family just running, and he dove for Rocket. He had no chance of getting him. If you see him next time, please tell him I said hello, man. I will. So I want to go to something, and I love, man, taking this deep dive on these games. 1989, USC comes. And once again, no one's talking about you. They're talking about this long-haired California left-handed quarterback, Todd Marinovich. And USC jumps out early. He's bumping the defensive line after the touchdown, talking trash. Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know why Tony Rice is my favorite Notre Dame quarterback of all time, go watch the fourth quarter against USC in 89. This man literally took the game over offensively for Notre Dame. Just took it over. Notre Dame had stalled. USC had seized control of the game. Todd Marinovich, all the hype. You thought this kid is going to walk into Notre Dame Stadium and come away with a big win as a true freshman. And you just took the game over. And that had to be one of the special moments in your senior season. That had to be one of those special moments where, as a leader, you had to say to yourself, we're not losing this game.
Yeah.
No, we're not losing this game.
Yep. We all looked at that, and we all think, we think about it, it's like, wow, we're going to halftime. We're down at halftime. And the momentum it was going their way. the whole entire time. It's like, wow, we need to do something. But he didn't change the strategy of the game of Coach Holtz changing anything. When I did what we had to do, we mixed some plays up. There was no drawing the plays in the sand and just running those routes. We just did our normal thing. And for some reason, USC stopped doing what they were doing right because we were pounding them on offense and defense. Even though Tom Marinovich, one of the best quarterbacks around that year, Lefty, watching him play, never ate a hamburger, they say, in his whole entire life until, years after he's finished graduating from USC. But one of the best players out there. But we had a good team too. And our defense did a great job. And our offense did a great job. Anthony Johnson, which we call him the money man, which you give him the ball, he'll at least get you 2.5 yards. And that's all we need. 2.5 yards each play get you a first down. Just don't turn the ball over. I remember dragging one of the players in the end zone, hopping in there with one leg because I was determined in order to get in there. There's no other feeling that's great than scoring. Scoring is fun. But it's also fun that you see the crowd when playing at home. And no one really left that game as far as they thought we was going to lose that game. They stayed there to the tail end, and we just busted our asses in order to come out victorious.
So I skipped over a game, and this is another funny story that I was like, Lou Holtz is petty. Now, this team was extremely talented, but they were young. And they ended up holding the number 1 spot, I think, the next year to losing to Georgia Tech. They held the number 1 spot, and I'm talking about the Virginia Cavaliers, SHAUN Moore, Herman Moore, Chris Slade. They were young, but they were really talented and on the come. Mm-hmm. You guys start the season. This is before you face Michigan. You guys start the season at the Meadowlands against them.
Kickoff classic.
Lou Holtz ran the ball, if I'm not mistaken, 21 consecutive times. And it was almost like, I just felt bad because I'm looking at George Welsh on the sideline, like he knows there's absolutely nothing we can do to stop them. And I'm watching this game, and I immediately tweeted out, Rodney Culver was a dude. I think he gets caught up, like you said, Anthony Johnson, Mark Green, Ricky Waters, Rocket, Dorsey Levens, all the names. And you forget, like, it's this dude named Rodney Culver.
Yes.
That was a dude. Running the ball, catching it out the backfield, blocking. He could do whatever you needed him to do. And I see him, like, making plays in this game, and I'm like, this is just Lou Holtz petty. He didn't have to run the ball consecutively. But he just knew, like, you know what? I'm not even going to, no, Tony, we're not throwing the ball. We're not throwing. We're not throwing. And I think when you did get a chance, you hit Rocket on another big play in that game when you did get a chance to throw it. And, they were ranked. They were young, but they weren't ready. They were talented, but you could tell the level of where your team was and where the program was. They weren't close.
Terry
Kirby,
Kirby
mismatch. Terry Kirby was a freshman. He's a freshman running back, right?
Yep, he lives in Miami.
Okay.
He rides motorcycles as I ride motorcycles.
You still ride your Harleys?
I'm sorry?
You still ride your Harleys?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I love it, man. I just rode this weekend and got stuck in rain. It rained Friday and Saturday. So it started raining. I decided not to ride it. But Terry Kirby ended up introducing me to the guy who did my modifications for my bike, put a big wheel on the front, speakers on the back. So I try to talk to Terry once in a while when I see him up at the dealership. So, he pointed me in the right direction of him being down here, living here for so many years in the Fort Lauderdale area that I'm able to connect with him. So
that's fantastic. And then the next game, look, these last 3 games of the 89 season, we know about, the Miami game. But you guys had to go up to Happy Valley, Miami.
Yeah.
And Joe Paul had them waiting. He had them waiting. Like, okay, they kept it close last year, but they were better than us. We're a little bit better. You know, that running back, who was that?
Blair Thomas?
Blair Thomas, yes. Blair Thomas, the running back. They were a young team in '88, and now they had grown and matured, and so they felt like they were ready for the moment. And watching that game, you guys, in my opinion, just broke them down. It was almost like watching a heavyweight fight where, you know, it's real strategic. Everybody's like being careful, trying to see where the counter punch is going to come from. And you guys kind of found your space, to use that analogy from a boxing standpoint, or found, you know, your comfort level. And then you just systematically just broke them down. Just broke them down. And they were playing hard. And you looked up, that's one of your best games again, you know, up there on the road. Let me tell you something. You're the money man. You're the money man. I told people last week, I said, let me tell you something. Left, you asked me, remember? Because Left was talking about Ian Book and being like has the most wins.
Winningest quarterback in Notre Dame.
He is. And you asked me the question. You said, if you had one thing to win in Notre Dame, you said, who would you take? And what did I say? I said, it's not even close.
It's not even close.
You can have Brady Quinn, you can have Clausen, you can have Malik, you can have Kaiser, you can have Ed, Tommy Rees, all of them. There's only one. We talk about winning a game. Oh, it's 9.
That's right.
Not even close.
That's right.
It's 9. And that Penn State game was another example of you leading. It wasn't the same fashion you took over against USC, but you were orchestrating in that game.
It was 20 degrees below with the wind chill factor out there.
Yes, it was. It was crazy. It was crazy.
You know, Coach Host has that lisp. So he was talking and his spit was never getting to me because of how old it was. So he like spit goes down. But it was 27 below with the wind chill factor.
That's crazy.
And we would keep warm. And, you know, they said, hey, if you run, you'll keep warm. That didn't help.
Didn't help. Too cool.
So we ran the ball a lot that day because it was the field was frozen. I think I had 123 yards rushing in that game. And even though I sound like Rain Man by saying that, because some days, you know, again, 36 years ago, 35 years ago, I remember the shit. Other stuff, I don't know what.
But what keeps you having so many great and clutch moments and fantastic games? What keeps you from, like you said, you haven't seen those videos in a long time. What keeps you from relishing on a lot of the awesomeness that you had? I mean, it's one to remember.
That goes back to what we were talking about earlier, Proposition 48, people not believing in you, that you cannot participate on the football field or the classroom. So I had a lot to prove, which I didn't really have anything to prove but to myself that I could do it. But there were some great moments that, again, no one can take away from you. And for some reason, it just pops up in my head. And it's just like, I sound like Rain Man in a way because that's the way it goes. I'm still living it. I'm not living it, but I still feel it. I feel like I see it making this point, doing this right here, me going that 45 degrees, me going outside and making a 36 read. And it just was fun times. We were snot-nosed little kids at that time. But again, I love the game. I love watching the game. When football season is over, it's like I never wanted the game to end. I never wanted football season to end because we go back to boring sports because we've been doing that our whole entire life. So,
do you feel like you've been immortalized in the Notre Dame ethos as a championship quarterback to really do something that still has yet to be accomplished in a long time?
Yeah. Yeah, I think my next goal, and I would like to do something, for Notre Dame, because Notre Dame has done a lot for me. And we'll see when that day comes. Given an opportunity, I don't know the standards of what they're looking for, what Notre Dame is looking for, but Coach Holtz saw something in me that other people probably didn't see. Given an opportunity to do a lot of things. And for me being down here, I've never been a part of a Notre Dame group as far as alumni club. I'm going to be doing that. I got to represent.
Alumni club could be a lot better, man. I'm telling you, I've been through my own struggles trying to get that going because it's too many people. It makes so much sense to have a strong Notre Dame club, and then when you realize that you like, there's so many things that can be done better, and you're in the participation. I mean, it's just a lot. So you're right. I think Notre Dame club would be a lot better.
Yeah, I can do more, and that's one of my goals that I wanted to do, just being an alumni, just to give back to the university and just to recruit those loyal fans. And they still call them Subway alumni, people that didn't go to school there, and just be a part of them because they would love to hear the story. We all have a story to tell in life. And I get the biggest thrill by hearing something about their kids. If they want to know something about me, I'll be happy to talk to them about me. The things I've been through and things that I'm still going through in life by being a good person. So I want to participate more in that, and I'm going to have to find time. They said the President of the United States is not, so I got to find time to get back to the club down here and just make it the best I can.
So once again, we're talking to Tony Rice right here, Lucky Lefty Podcast with Sean Davis and MALIK ZAIRE. We're going through the 89 season right now, and you guys leave Penn State, that tough game, and you head to Miami. You've already talked about how Lou Holtz kind of put the clamps on you guys heading into that game because of what transpired in the tunnel in 88.
Yeah.
And this is something, and this is me. I totally understand times change, perception with social media and how quickly things can get out. It's not as easy to cover certain things up. Unfortunately, what happened with Michigan and Michigan State in their tunnel, and that Michigan tunnel, which is very similar to Notre Dame Stadium back today, and both teams came out of the same tunnel and probably were in the tunnel at the same time before the game and after the game. So
what was that like? Yeah, that's intense. What's that intensity like?
That was the way it was. That was the way it was. I miss it. I miss it.
Yeah. I tell you what, my battery's about to go dead. Let me go around and get a plug real fast.
Yeah,
okay?
go ahead.
I gotta know if he was a trash talker. He gotta hurry back. I gotta know if he was talking that trash. Because the quarterback, if the quarterback talking trash, it's gonna be a long day for the other team. So
Tony Rice is gonna be back joining us. Let me tell you something, Lev. I miss the days. And I know Notre Dame wants to avoid anything that's a precaution, right? That's why they built the new visitors entrance on that sideline. But hey, man, I'm sorry. The intensity of standing there as a Notre Dame team in the same tunnel with Miami, in the same tunnel with USC, in the same tunnel in 93 with Florida State. Go watch the beginning of that Florida State game. Notre Dame purposely comes out and stands there as Florida State is taking the field. Pretty much like, it's about to go down.
You can't do that now because you're getting charged with felonies and all types of stuff. And
all types of stuff. Social
none
media.
Of that stuff count when you in the tunnel though. In the tunnel, it's like that's what makes the game. And taking that out the game, you have to hear stories from Tony Rice, just what those moments was like. Because it's one thing watching it that brings the nostalgia, but you're in there causing it. You in there. I mean, they didn't have a bunch of security guards separating the teams, and they didn't have all the assistant non-coaches breaking people up. It was like, you got to get to the field through the other team.
And that was so. I know 88. I want to make sure I get these right. 88 Miami was talked about. I've heard there was some trash talk. 88 Michigan. Leading into that game. 89 USC. Willie McGinnis has been on record talking about the trash talk in the pregame and in the tunnels with you in that USC game. So that was, the Miami game gets all the buzz, right? Because of how big that game was. But that was, and when it was a big matchup in Notre Dame, you have two teams coming through the same tunnel. Like the competitive side is going to come out. Like you're going to see and hear some trash talking. So what was that like? And then I want you, this is something I miss as well. Because on those clips, we saw you run into the end zone in Notre Dame. And Notre Dame fans would greet you in the end zone. Like literally the fans were on the field with the band.
Yeah, you can jump in there with
you would score a touchdown and Notre Dame students would be in the end zone with you celebrating.
Yeah. That was more the
That's
band
crazy.
Going back to what you said about the Miami game, before that game even started, before we even got down there, that we had that stipulation, like Coach O said, we couldn't do anything. And it kind of took us out of the, let the air out of us as far as let's go to their house, let's cause some ruckus, and let's come out victorious. And he just mentioned, this is not going to happen. You're gonna, I'm gonna resign you. I'm gonna take your scholarship away. Blah blah blah. So I thought we had a very good chance, and like I mentioned earlier, the '89 season was better than the '88 as far as the team was. But they just came out there and they saw our weakness. Our weakness was like we cowered into the corner and like, hey, we're not going to fight you guys. Our hands are tied. You win. And I was like, man, we just should have went out there blazing. And I think if we went out there blazing, we never knew what the outcome of the game would have been. And I just know that I'll be talking shit out there playing with those guys. That's the hardest you can hit, which Miami is the hardest hitting team out there compared to.
He tells us the harder you get, the harder the team.
Yeah. But that's things. Like, what if? What if a lot of things could happen? What if I would have went to school at another university or another small school compared to Notre Dame? And by me given the opportunity to do that, my grandmother made the right decision for me because when you're down south, you listen to your elders. Your elders is going to point you in the right direction. And she raised 4 kids that were not her own, and I was one of the 4.
What do you think of these recruiting processes? I mean, they going above lengths, and now it's bigger than just come eat a meal with your mom and your dad.
I don't know. I think about it. I wouldn't change a damn thing that what we went through, the process of college. And I love the camaraderie that we built with our teammates and in our, in the classroom and our classmates. That those are 4 years that, man, no one can ever take away from you. It's just like playing football. But then you grow together, you learn together. Because I can pick up the phone right now and call a person that went to Notre Dame, and the first thing we ask of each other would be, what dorm did you live in? For some reason, we remember our dorms, and we just start talking about our dorms. We forget about, football. We just talk about our dorms. But then Notre Dame is there to help you out. And Notre Dame, they say, you give me 4 years, they give me 40 years. I believe in that. And I've opened up doors for people that I normally wouldn't talk to, but since they went to Notre Dame, I would talk to you. Because Notre Dame Notre Dame didn't teach me that way. He told me to open up the doors, and Father Hirschberg and Father Joyce is from my near my hometown in South Carolina. Him being able to take a chance with me and trying to put South Carolina back on the map. I thank him for it, and I was thanking him for it every 4 years that I was there. I used to go see him a lot. Him and Father Hirschberg too. So we have those people that I will never forget about, that help you across the bridge, that trying to point you in the right direction. And that's when I said earlier, I'm going to go back and do a lot of things for Notre Dame, and just by joining one of those clubs and share my story.
So let's end this 89 discussion with the Orange Bowl, which was a crazy. We had Notre Dame with the goal line stand. Colorado comes in with a outside chance to win the national championship. And then once again,
they had one of the best quarterbacks, Darian Hagan.
Oh man, and Eric Bieniemy. Yes. Was a running back. Yes. He's actually the current Chicago Bears running back coach right now, which is crazy. Yeah, Eric Bieniemy. So, and then they had Chad. They had Steve, defensive tackle, Alfred Williams, Chad Brown. Oh, their defense was that Canadius McGee. Man, yes. Woo! Man, Deion Figures in the secondary. They were stacked. Yeah, that team was stacked. They were stacked. And you guys faced them in Orange Bowl. Like I said, your defense comes up huge because Colorado, is kind of controlling things early. Defense kind of stems the tide, the goal line stand. And then right then, I don't know what Coach Holtz said at halftime, but a totally different team came out in the third quarter. And it was like from that point on, it's like you just physically manhandled a really good football team. Like, it just amazed me. The gears. It was only one team that had that gear similar to you guys, and that was Miami. That was it. I watched Miami do it at Michigan. They just hit a gear, and there's nothing Michigan could do. And like, you guys are playing Colorado in the Orange Bowl, and it's a tough physical game. And then, like you said, it wasn't like he made big adjustments. You guys just came out and just made up in your mind, like, all right, we're about to play Notre Dame football.
You're right.
Their talented defense couldn't do anything. They couldn't stop the run.
Yeah. There was no adjustments at all during the halftime. Just like talk, hey, you guys okay? He said, now let's play right now. Let's get in the huddle. Because our huddle was always fun. I allowed those guys, and it's not really, I don't allow nobody to do anything. They do anything they want to. But, let's talk. But when it comes to get serious, I was like, hey, eyes on me. Then everybody shut up. And I called a play, and I said, I may audible. You never know until I get up there. And Dean Brown was my roommate in college, and he started. And he's like, "Are you really ready to play?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "What are you holding back for?" I'm like, "I'm not holding back. I think you're holding back. Go ahead and play. Let's go. Let's go for it now." Playing around. We just like playing a huddle. Like, you ain't playing hard enough. Stuff like that. Play games. Sometimes I should tell Dean, and I tell another guy, Tim Ryan, bird dog. Let them know where we're coming. We're coming his way. See if they can stop. And that would stop us. That was more the option. That was the option. It's like everything based upon deception. You know who has the ball. And I always thought myself as being the magic man. Put that ball in there. Anthony Johnson does a good fake, or he may get the ball, and I'm going to carry out one person with me. That's my job to take. If I don't have the ball, I'm still going to run fast as hell to the sideline. Take one person along with me. So my fullback can just go up the hole. So you never see me lollygagging around like the quarterbacks now just hand the ball off and watch the people run through this right here, just looking at them. No, I'm carrying out the fake.
Yeah, that bothers me. Not carrying out the fake bothers me so much. I think you're right. It's all because of the triple option and carrying out and taking a guy with you. That's selflessness, because you know that's still a play in your mind, and like in our mind, when we carry out that thing, we take two, we take one. We got you. Yeah, we got you. We got you.
You're right.
So that's the play, but that it's like that's almost as good as running the ball yourself. But you only get that appreciation when you run that kind of offense. Like now, it's like a struggle to get guys to carry out fakes, and they don't see the importance of it. I'm like, it's such a lazy thing to do at quarterback these days. For sure.
They said you got one job only.
That's it. Just keep going. Just keep running.
Yes.
Because it looked good on film. That's the other thing. It looks really good on film. Because then you like, oh man, it really looked like I'm hiding the ball. Like they don't know. I don't even know who has the ball if I'm carrying out my fake sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it was in high school. And a couple of times I did it against Navy up in Baltimore. I carried out the fake and I had the ball and I'm down the field and the referee blew the whistle because he thought that the fullback had the ball. And I'm down the field doing this right here. And they say, no, he was down right here. I'm like, I have the ball. Well, I thought he had the ball. No. And they still call it down right there. They didn't give me the ball. I broke up about 10 yards on them. So everything about deception, carrying out the fake, and they never knew because I did that the whole entire time.
It is so good. Yeah, you do it so good. And that's how you get a lot of big runs too as the quarterback, because they'll fall asleep on you, and then it's easier matchups. You got one-on-one with a bunch of space because everybody's lost. I mean, it's underrated, man. Underrated.
Oh, yes.
So you guys get through 88, 89. When you leave a special place like Notre Dame as an athlete, and like you said, you were a student before you became an athlete. What were your collective thoughts in the immediate aftermath of that Orange Bowl? Because, your journey is cinematic or cinematic worthy. It really is. Somebody needs to write a book. Somebody needs to do a biopic because your journey is just as, in my opinion, for what I stated earlier in the show, just as impactful. Like Malik will tell you, when Ev is there and he's in the same room with Malik and in the same room with SHAUN, and they're all there at the same time, they know who they're chasing. That quarterback room had 3 black quarterbacks in it at the same time, and they all had one thought in mind. I want to be just like Tony Rice. Maybe you don't know that, but Malik can tell you, you're that guy. Everybody knows we're chasing 9. Not because of stats, because of who he was as a person, who he was as a leader, and who he was as a winner. Just looking back in the immediate aftermath of everything was done after that Orange Bowl, did you even comprehend that, man, other black quarterbacks will be coming down the pipeline in Notre Dame and will see me in the form of a hero, in a sense?
I never thought about that. I was hoping that they give more black quarterbacks like myself a chance. I think we still got a long way to go. But that's just me. Because by giving a chance, God, look at Malik. You look at Kevin McDougal, one of the best quarterbacks. Oh, my God.
Another quarterback that was right there on the precipice of winning a national championship. Right there.
Yeah. God, those, just like anyone who was a black quarterback went to Notre Dame, because that's a hard feat to come by.
Yeah, it's a hard feat.
Quarterback at Notre Dame. And I was like, okay, I'm not really the first black quarterback at Notre Dame because it was, I think, a guy named Cliff Brown back in the 71.
Yes.
And he was a quarterback then. So, when they say that, I applaud him.
Yeah.
I don't know what he went through. And I couldn't imagine what he went through back in those years. Because I know back in my years, it was hard. He had it even worse. We tried to pave the way for everyone else by being given a chance, and he paved the way for me. So I have so much respect for him that when I met him, I was like, man, I had to bow. Because never heard about you, but then, I never heard about you when growing up. But I'm looking at you right now, and I go back and look at the history and find out who's who. And you were the first black quarterback at Notre Dame? Shit. They say it's me. No, it's not me. Yeah, we won a national championship by using me, but we had a good supporting cast of everyone else. One person cannot win that national championship, but we're being labeled. And I'm happy that I was hopefully able to throw everything out there. Just listen, if I can do it, you guys can do it. And MALIK, they have stepped up to the forefront and put their head in that they're the next quarterback, and they were. We can only sit back and watch now and see what unfolds with what Coach Freeman has going for them. And I wish them the best. When I talked to Chris Zorich and Pat Terrell, we said, hey, the game close, but we're still the last one to win the national championship. So we always kid around about that. But it'd be great, for the game that's coming up right now. And I know that Coach Freeman has his hands full of trying to hold his court and hold his people accountable, his coaches and his players. But they're ready to come down here to perform. And I'll be cheering for them all the way. Once a domer, always a domer, they say. And us domers take care of each other.
Yeah. So let's talk about Coach Freeman's dilemma. You were in your own quarterback battle with Ken Graham in '88. And he had what I only called one of the best heavyweight. He said it today in his press conference, like, this is the best quarterback battle I've been part of as a head coach during my time here. Both guys, man, they really stepped up. And eventually he decides to go with CJ Carr. How difficult do you think it was for Coach Holtz? You talk about the relationship you had with Ken Graham. He was your bridge. The relationship you still have. How difficult is it for a head coach when you have two guys that can get the job done, two guys that the team believes in, to go ahead and like Coach Holtz, I'm sure he made a decision with his gut. Marcus Freeman said, I had to make a gut decision. It's like, I thought stats might decide it. They didn't. I just had to go with my gut. Being part of that, how do you think that went, and how do you think that played into the ultimate decision with CJ Carr ending up quarterback?
Like any given Sunday, any given Saturday, I could be thrown in there as quarterback and I mess up a couple of times. He's going to yank me.
Yeah.
So Kent better be ready to play. And he may sit me down for a series or two just to let me clear my head and let him think, are you ready to play now? Are you ready to go out and play ball? Or you want to just sit there and just not do what I tell you to do? Stuff like that. But I came to play the whole entire time. It's just like, I never wanted the game to end. I'm not going to go sit on the sideline and, if we win by long, we're going to score. I can still sound like everybody else play, but I wanted to play. I'm there for a reason. I'm trying to make up for lost time, too, because that freshman year I didn't play. So, come on, let the games keep on going. But, with the pressure that the coaches have right now with them, and for them to pick a quarterback that is going to suit the team, he sees it more than we see it. He sees something in CJ that we don't see. Does it take anything away from the other quarterback? I don't think it does. It just pushes the quarterback harder. But he better be ready in case something happens if he goes down with the injury or anything, that hopefully no one gets hurt while they're playing. So it's kind of hard to tell. He had that gut feeling, and Coach Holtz had a gut feeling to take it upon him and to put me in. We don't see the same thing. And him using CJ, and I wish him the best. And we always want Notre Dame to be victorious. And everyone come out of harm's way. But at the end of the day, he runs Notre Dame. He runs that football team. That's his baby. Mm-hmm. I believe in him. Other people believe in him. He pulled something off last year by losing one game to NIU, and they're coming back winning all the other games and going through those playoffs. He could have sat there and let that NIU game bother him, but he didn't let it bother him. Yeah, you don't want to lose, but then that one game set everything aside. But then he went on to win every other game except the championship game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish, Tony.
So we can sit back and talk and reminisce and old times, but these kids are faster, stronger, bigger, and even though they jump in schools, but they got talent. They got talent and they got money, which it didn't bother me at all because I didn't have enough money to go to the movies with my girlfriend and everything because we didn't get paid.
Yeah,
that's what Notre Dame is about. At the end, you reap the rewards at the end and get your degree.
Yeah, I think about it now. Going to practice this summer, you just said something about the players being bigger, faster, and stronger, and I'm like, yeah, Tony probably never threw to somebody 6'5", 220 at wide receiver. Notre Dame has a 6'5", 220 wide receiver. And another one that's
like that.
Yeah, another one that's 6'3", 210. It's like those are probably tight ends back at Tony's day.
That's right.
Them tight ends, yeah.
So I want to end this, and you're more than welcome to stay on with us to the end, Tony, because we're going to play some more clips of Marcus Freeman's press conference. We would love to get your input on what he said today.
I got to rock and roll. I got to get some food.
Okay. But absolutely. Thank you for joining us. I want you and Malik to end this. Tell the Notre Dame fans what it's like the week leading up to your first start as a Notre Dame quarterback, and what CJ Carr is feeling right now. Like, is he getting any sleep? Is he in the film room? Or what? Like, what is this week like, and what is that game day going to be like for CJ Carr? I want to hear from you and Malik.
I would say what I went through is more like practice was hard. Game time was easy. When I say it was easy, because you practice those 3 or 4 days on the things you need to work on. And, you take those steps, and then, you polish it up with the last day. So you better be ready to play. You can't wait to play because you don't want to go to practice the next day.
Right, they don't have that same fear though. We didn't have it as much, but losing and then the next day that whole process is not the same.
Yeah, it's not fun, but again, wow, the first game of the season. What you gonna do? Sure, you're on prime time. It's 7. Yeah. You're the only college football game on that night.
At night,
watching you. I'm eager to play. Ain't no butterflies. I know my plays. So it's time for us to stop hitting each other and hit someone else. Let's go out there and score some touchdowns. That's basically it on my end. Malik?
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. A lot of it is like you got to be able to be prepared. And after a while, you can only get so psyched out before you're like, man, I just want to play the game already. And then, like you said earlier, after that, like for me and how you said as well, is when you get that first hit, you're like, okay, I'm good. Yeah, you definitely, I felt a lot of different things before you run out there and they do the fight song and you do the whole, it was just a lot. You realize when you're starting, it's a lot before you get to that first snap. So it just fuels your whole anxiety because it feels like time is slowing down. You're like, dang, can we just, I know my stuff. Can we just get to the snap? And then once you do all the extra, you throw it on the sideline while they about to kick off, you're like, golly. And then you're like, you get in there. And I'm telling you, this after that first fake, you carry it out and they hit you or something out of it. You're like, okay, now we're finna beat you up. Let's lock you in. Everything becomes blocked out. And now you're like, man, what I got to do next? So it happens fast, but you think after the game, you're like, man, I can't believe that was my first game. It was so many people there. You like, it's a switch for sure.
And I tell you what, some of the pain just goes away. It's like, man, even though you'll be bruised the next morning, but that day, it's like, man, you feel like you can play another quarter. Like, okay, we do this. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for having me on the show. And like I said earlier, if there's anything you need from me, you got my number. I'll be happy to participate and just bring back memories of what you guys were talking about early. And it's a happy feeling in my head, knowing that we are not, us old guys are not forgotten. And
Man,
to mention that, that's good.
Once again, Notre Dame fans, light it up in the chat for the Notre Dame legend, the best to ever do it, the ultimate winner on and off the field, one of the greatest ambassadors for the University of Notre Dame, none other than Tony Rice, right here on the Lucky Lefty podcast.
Thanks, guys.
For the great Tony,
man, thanks,
appreciate you.
Right.
We'll
love you
I
guys.
check on you.
Man, appreciate you.
Yo, Notre Dame fans, let me tell you
That's
something,
right.
bro. Hey, bro, you don't understand, bro. 12-year-old watching this dude go to work, having a chance to sit here and have a conversation with him tonight. That's bucket list stuff, bro.
Yeah.
That's bucket list stuff for your boy SD2 Mics. And
T.
I
Rice.
hope everyone in the chat enjoyed. He was scheduled to give us 45. He gave us an hour and a half left.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greg, I'm like a kid. Hey, man, I'm like a kid in the candy store, man. I'm on cloud 9, bro. Super chat, Anthony Campbell. We thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate you. Super chat, Tony Rice, my favorite quarterback all time. I agree with you, Anthony. Jay Grizz. Thank you, Mr. Rice, for all the great memories and being the reason why my dad raised me to be a fan of Notre Dame football. Go Irish. Jay Grizz. Man, I wish I had a chance to bring it up while he was still on rocking with us. That's fantastic. Remy, GTB question. Shout out to you, Remy, for tapping in with us. Yes, he talked about riding his Harleys. He talked about Terry Kirby, the great running back from Virginia and NFL running back. He played for multiple teams. I know he played for the Dolphins. He talked about Terry Kirby helping him hook up one of his Harleys. So that's a great question. Another GTB, is Arch Manning worth the hype or just another quarterback like CJ and Kenny? Whoa, relax. I don't know if we could just say another quarterback like CJ and Kenny. We got to let CJ and Kenny play. I think we need to let Arch Manning play too. Like, man, they get some games under their belt before we start hitting them with people.
Yeah, it's just, man, it's almost overflowing for me when it comes to this whole hype. I really believe we're gonna go out there and handle our business, and CJ will be a good proponent of that. It'll be awesome to see him toss it a couple times down the field, give us a different appearance than what we looked last year with some of the same characters. Nobody's giving Jeremiah Love enough credit that him and Jadarian Price, as much as Miami thinks they want to shut down the run, we're still going to run it. So to be a team that we're going to run, we're not hiding it, we're going to do it anyway, and you cannot stop it. It's just show how awesome we have at some of these positions, and that's going to carry CJ all the way through, I'm telling you.
Well, he has help. Like you said, his assignment versus the assignment that his counterpart is going to have in Carson Beck is totally different. Totally different. And Marcus Freeman talked about that. Lucky Lefty podcast, Bleav Network, FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app. Go to FanDuel.com. Once again, subscribe on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up. It helps with the views. Go ahead. Hit that thumbs up real quick for us. We appreciate it. Subscribe if you have not. And then go over to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can tap in on the audio side with us as well. We greatly appreciate it. But talking about CJ and his assignment, Marcus Freeman was very honest and objective when he said there are going to be some growing pains with a first-time starter at quarterback.
you're going to have some growing pains with any first-time starter, and we have to understand that. We can't expect the quarterback, CJ, to be perfect. We know there are some ups and downs that come with that position, that come with being a first-time starter. We got to protect him. We got to protect him in the pass game, right, in terms of our O-line, but also protect him in the decisions we have to make. We can't put too much on his plate because he's got to be able to handle the environment. He's got to be able to handle the crowd. He's got to be able to handle being his first game versus a big-time opponent. We've got to be able to run the ball. Like, that's something that we know we have to be able to do. And defensively, we got to be able to help the quarterback get away. We got to be really good on defense and, make sure this isn't a shootout.
Yeah, it'll just be interesting to see where Miami is going to get their points from, considering I feel like our run defense is going to be a lot better this year due to the fact that we have a lot of bodies to throw at it. So if we're handling the run game, our skill level at the secondary is good enough to manage a receiver core that's young and, hasn't played with their quarterback yet. It's really not a lot of things where I can find where Miami's scoring a bunch of points. So conversely for us, I think it's an opportunity for us to play great situationally and in moments. And I think that breaks the game open. And by second half, we should be looking to put some other guys in and get them some reps too.
Yeah, for me, I think the assignment is nuanced. I said it last night. Absolutely, there's an advantage. When you look at the experience, the numbers, the production, there's definitely a decided advantage for the quarterback of Miami. But his assignment, in my opinion, is a little bit more difficult than the assignment. It's not to say the assignment that CJ Carr has is easy by no stretch of the imagination. That is not what I'm saying. But I still Bleav he has the easier assignment because of his surrounding. I think he is surrounded by an extremely talented roster on both sides of the ball that helps him and assists him to be able to go out and execute the game plan and lead Notre Dame to a victory. So, that's what I'm looking for. And I think it's something that we all expect. Like, I don't expect him to play bad. I don't. Will he have some mistakes? Yes. But do I expect him to play bad? Absolutely not. Marcus Freeman, how has CJ Carr been since the announcement that he's the starter? Coach?
Yeah, I think there's a natural human element where when you're in competition with somebody, there's a little hesitation to truly just lead as the quarterback should lead, be the leader of that offense. Both of them has done fall, but I think now there's direction, right? There is no confusion on who's going to be the quarterback to start game one. And so you're going to see that chemistry continue to build. But I know the guys on our offense, like, they're confident in both quarterbacks because they was built through camp, right? That both quarterbacks went with the ones. And, but it's great for, I think, our whole program just to have direct.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the confidence, CJ feeling like he has confidence, clear mind. I'm the guy. I'm the dude. We really could dig at what he said about the competition and why he made the decision. But ultimately, either guy needed a clear mind. If the choice was Kenny, he needed a clear runway. The choice being CJ, he needed a clear runway. The team needed a clear runway to know who they were rocking with heading into this game on Sunday. So that's where things lie. That's where things lie. And no matter what you think about it, like Tony Rice said, I'm rooting for him. He says CJ is the guy now. This is his baby. This is his team. And let's go get it done. He also talked about, now, Left, I want you to listen to this. He was asked, outside, we see the physical gift and talent of CJ Carr. What were some of the other things? What were some of the other things that made you say he is the guy? Those intangibles. This is what Marcus Freeman said, Left, and then I'm going to let you rock out.
Is intelligent of a football player you'll be around. Worked extremely hard in his preparation. He is a guy that just studies the game endlessly to find a way to improve. He's, and this isn't saying he's different than some other guys but I'm talking about CJ Carr. He's a guy that's very confident. At some points, you may be a little bit overconfident, but you want it in your quarterback. You want the quarterback to say, I want the ball in my hands every play when the game is on the line, and I believe that I'm going to make the right decision. And so he has a lot of those intangibles outside of the physical skill set that many people see that you want your quarterback to have.
And what kind of performance do you envision from him that's a winning performance in your first game against Miami, in addition to protecting the football?
Yeah, you want him to make good decisions, right? Is that every play can't be a touchdown. Every play, it can't be a bomb. Trust the game plan. Trust what you see. Be who you are and win this play. I don't want to put a numerical expectation on him. Be the best version of CJ Carr. Make those guys around you better. That's something that he does really well. He raises the play of those guys around you through his words, through his actions, through his competitive spirit. Be that guy. And at the end of the day, don't just win this play, right? Not the last one, just win this one right in front of us.
Well, you know how I feel about this whole intelligent thing. So, yeah, I want to see it. Marcus Freeman is absolutely right. We want to see a decision making, and I'm truly excited to see CJ play. I just, the overhyping stuff. It's like, okay, I think that we'll see it if it's there, and being realistic, I think he's going to have a good opportunity, and he's going to have a good chunk of plays where he can make an impact, whether it be in throwing the ball past 20 yards, whether it be making a good play on third down, a good, throw over the middle. But this whole intelligent preparation thing, if that's the case, I want to see him go out there and Peyton Manning, make all the checks and call out the defense and do all the – because, that takes time. So nobody's rolling out the package doing that. I believe he's taking this very seriously, and it's good to know that you got a guy that's going to take chances. We haven't heard from a quarterback him being overly confident, so I'm excited to see that charisma infect the team. Marcus Freeman said the most important thing, that he can make other players better around him. And once you got that tag, you really, sky's the limit.
He also talked about, which I thought was really interesting. He was asked, what in particular, Left, did Kenny Minchey do? What did he do that made it such a close competition? And Marcus Freeman, he said this.
Decision making, his arm strength, his leadership in his own way. You talk about a guy that's probably gained more trust from the start of spring ball to now than maybe anybody in our program. And he is a really, really good – he's good enough to be the starting quarterback at Notre Dame, right? And it was a tough decision because, like I said earlier, the statistics were very, very similar. And at the end of the day, I had to throw it out the window and make it other factors.
Yeah,
I would love to hear these other factors, man. I would just love to know what the factors were.
Because it wasn't
just factor.
He told on himself, he said, I threw everything out and just made a decision. And then he just have left it at that. I just never liked the whole consolation speech on the guy that didn't win the job. Because they buff it up so much, you'd be like, well, why you didn't start him? And then you lead us with so many other factors. Well, you named a bunch of things that we knew they both did well. So, I mean, are you saying Kenny doesn't prepare? Is he not as intelligent? Is he not? I mean, because then you leave it up to us for interpretation when you say other factors, because we believed that they both were notches above where we needed to be as for throwing the football. We know Kenny's a little bit more of a playmaker, but when he said gain the trust from spring until now, did y'all not trust him before? I don't know.
That's why I asked the question, Left. When did it happen?
What happened?
When did the jump happen?
I don't know.
Because, like you said, Left, you've been watching both these guys for 2 years. Every facet of their personality, their game, and it's just an interesting. I was waiting to hear what he had to say. And like I said, I tweeted it out. I love what I'm hearing from Marcus Freeman. I loved what I heard from Marcus Freeman 95% of the press conference today. Literally 95% of the press conference, I was like, yeah, I'm loving it. But then the more layers surrounding the quarterback conversation, the more layers that were pulled away, I was like, let's just leave this alone right now. Let's just go ahead and move forward.
Yeah, you just got to leave it alone because it's too open-ended, it's too vague, and you just start feeling like they just decided because this is the way, or ulterior things that are non-football related, and it just sucks because it's like, okay, for two guys to be so even, and then you not even be, I don't know. I think that we have two capable guys that can get the job done and it not depend solely on their talent.
Yeah, I agree with that. Lucky Left podcast. So today, Marcus Freeman was also on the Pivot podcast that was released, and it was a great conversation. I think it was about 39 minutes. It's a really short podcast, but once again, they came to South Bend. They sat down with Coach Freeman, and the perception of Notre Dame has changed. And this is what Marcus Freeman said about that on the Pivot.
Marcus Freeman now, and Notre Dame's a different Notre Dame thanks to the success that you guys have had. Pivot fam, thank y'all for pivoting with us. This is our college football training camp show. Coach, talk about what last year's run did for the perception of yourself as a head coach and Notre Dame headed into the 2025 season.
Yeah, I think you said it right. The perception's different, and that's to each person's opinion, right? And what I love most about what that run did for us, one, it was a special run for the people that were involved on that team, right? And that's what gives me the most gratification is being able to, reach some great heights. We didn't finish it, but for those guys, but it's also helped in recruiting, right? I think that people that have grown up probably a little bit older like us that understand the Notre Dames of the past, the great teams, the 88 team, the 90s, but this younger generation maybe didn't have that perception of this place. And I think now young people at least say, okay, Notre Dame was in the national championship game. Maybe I want to go check that place out, right? And if we can get kids on campus here, then it's our job to convince them it's the right place for them.
Yeah, it really is that simple. Win games, get them on campus, convince them that Notre Dame is the place to be. That's why the roster is so stacked now, because Marcus Freeman dared to go after the best athletes around the country and get them on campus and show them that you are a Notre Dame kid. You can thrive at Notre Dame. 4 for 40 can mean something to you. And I absolutely love him. Hey, man, look, outside of Lou Holtz, Marcus Freeman, to me, is the second best ambassador / branding head coach that Notre Dame has ever had. I don't even count Newt Rockney because Newt Rockney set everything up. He's on a totally different level. Like what he created, the Subway alumni, going out to the West Coast, setting up games, the USC rivalry, what he did, the academies, all of that. Newt Rockney is coaching God. He's a coaching God at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But outside of Lou, when it comes to like expanding the brand, Marcus Freeman has done in 3 years what some people couldn't do in a decade. I'll leave it at that.
And that's what makes it so special is that all he really needed is he had the everything else factor. He just needed to win in a place that many people thought was unwinnable the way everybody else was winning. And the way he won, it stood out because it was different because it wasn't the standard quo and it defied all the things that people used to use negatively to recruit against Notre Dame. He turned all those into a positive and then made it seem even more possible that you can contribute to a team that has depth, that they play their depth. Those guys, I mean, whether we planned it or it happened through coincidence of injury, guys that are getting recruited and getting scholarships, they're not sitting on the bench all day on a good team. How many teams can be a good team and rotate all their guys? Notre Dame did it by happenstance, but I think they found the way to do it through that. I mean, who else in the country can have a backups take you all the way to the championship, then you get your healthy players back? That's really, like I said, it wasn't necessarily planned, but it happened that way. And to a recruit, you're like, dang, even as a freshman, I can mess around and get some playing time regardless, and we can win. So with all those things included, Marcus Freeman has a special process at Notre Dame that is digestible. Before it wasn't digestible. Either it was something from a recruiting stereotype or offensive or a defensive hindrance through the coaching or the unsaid and unwritten things taking place where it was too many questions to answer. But Marcus Freeman hasn't had any scandals, has really the most impressive thing that he's done has been able to navigate through things that can knock him off his course since the beginning. I mean, how many people can, handle properly getting hired as the head coach at the same time of getting a whole position created called an offensive head coach like that? Day one, it wasn't easy. But for him to be able to manage all of that and win games and do things he's doing, people found that connecting piece because they like, man, if this brother can do it, I can do it. Before it was everybody else was like, oh, they doing it because that's Notre Dame. It was something that didn't seem attainable. But people can relate to Marcus Freeman on a lot of different levels. And to see him break through all those things that people believed held other people back, now they're like, okay, Marcus Freeman's one of us and he did this. So now we're encouraged and inspired to want to do the same.
I couldn't have said it any better. I just think what he has done, and tonight's show is about Notre Dame still has a lot to prove. I know they just ran to the national championship. This program still has a lot to prove. That's why I'm excited about this first game. Marcus Freeman knows. He knows. I still got a lot to prove. I'm tired of having these Northern Illinois Marshalls and Stanfords on my resume every year. I'm tired. He knows. It's a hurdle he has to get over. He knows. He knows they haven't had a quarterback that's thrown for 3,000. He knows that's a hurdle that needs to be jumped. He knows. He knows they need to get over the Ohio State hurdle. He knows, Left. He knows. Notre Dame still has plenty of work to do. As talented as they are, as good as I believe they can be, this Notre Dame team in 2025 and the program still has a lot of work to do. There's a lot left on the bone, a lot of meat left on the bone. And I look forward to seeing them devour it, get to that ultimate goal. Left, I think you're going to love this as we get ready to get out of here. The chat has been absolutely amazing. ND Milton fan, I'm going to get to your super chat right after we hear this from Marcus Freeman. Once again, from the pivot, man, I was ready to go put on equipment after hearing Marcus Freeman say this, ladies and gentlemen. This is your head coach, and I understand why most of you love him the way you do.
It just became these one-game seasons, man, and you get ready to play an Indiana team that had done a heck of a job in Notre Dame Stadium. First game on a campus, it was rocking. It was cold, but it was rocking. It was rocking, man. Yeah. That was a special night, you know. And all of a sudden, you get ready for Georgia. Yeah, you try to humanize them, right? I said, they're football players, man. You can't let perception of the mighty SEC, the Georgia Bulldogs, beat you before you step on the field. Yeah. Right? They're men. Like, they're just like us. I got so much respect for Coach Smart. Mm-hmm. That's a ball coach, man. That's a ball coach. And that football team. But the one thing this program ain't gonna do is fear no one. Mm. No one. Like, we're gonna go in this thing, we're gonna go in there fighting. And that's, you know, people make a big deal about the A&M entrance. And when I was getting ready to go, like, that's what dogs, hey, we got me some dogs, man, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, I was once a player. I'm a competitor. Like, we don't fear no one.
And the atmosphere was nuts.
It was crazy. That's one of the best. A&M, it was one of the best. But, like, these dudes didn't fear no one, right? And it showed when we're down 7 versus Penn State. Mm. We're down 7 versus Penn State at halftime, and you're down. What you gonna do? Mm-hmm. You gonna go out there and fight and claw and do whatever it takes to find a way to win this game? Or you gonna start feeling bad for yourself? And that's what they did. They went back and they started fighting, man. And then all of a sudden you realize, oh shoot, we're in the national championship. Right. We're in the national championship, and we know how that went. The thing that I remember about that game is these dudes never laid down. We were down 21 in the third, and they never laid down. They just kept going. They kept believing it. And you know what? It was that third down, third 11 or whatever it was, and Jeremiah Smith, and great players, a great team, and we lost. But these dudes never quit. But I spent a lot of time saying, what could I as a leader done differently? There's lessons in losing, man. There's lessons in winning, but there's real lessons in losing. And, you know, if we get that opportunity, we earn that opportunity again, we'll make some minor changes in the preparation. We're going to go out there and go swing.
That's my head coach. I don't know about you guys. That's my head coach. That's my head coach at the University of Notre Dame. We fear no one. We had that feeling with the last head coach. I'm going to tell you, you had your captain getting ready to take the field against Alabama, talking about the fear that existed amongst the players. That stems from the head coach. When your captain is feeling that stems from the head coach. This is your head coach right now telling you we fear no one. We getting ready to go into this stadium on Sunday night. We ready to rock and roll. I've been telling people all summer long, Marcus Freeman knows he has some dogs. If you think he thought he had dogs last year heading into Texas A&M, he knows he has dogs this year. So dogs. I'm ready. This can't get, man, Sunday night can't get hit fast enough. Can't get hit fast enough. That cat, Coach Freeman had everybody in the room fixated on him. That's what you're talking about. That wasn't fake. I'm a competitor. I played this game. I know dogs when I see them, and I got dogs. I was ready to let him off the leash. He was fired up. I told you that clip right there left, man.
It's a forewarning of what's to come. And you gotta buy the stock now in Marcus Freeman, man. You should have bought it 2 years ago, like I told you. But like you said, he's bringing and coming with something different. He's not afraid of these teams, and that reflects on the team. We walked into Texas A&M in a crazier environment and walked in there like it was our place. And that confidence of just the walk-in alone affected the rest of the team. He wasn't nervous, and we played our game with all things included. So it just showed.
Miami fans, you are well within your right. All the Miami fans that have been in our show over the last week, you've been fantastic for the most part. You're well within your right to bring up 2017. Well within your right. Let me tell you something. This is a different head coach. It is a different culture and a totally different mindset coming down to Hard Rock this Sunday. Doesn't mean that that's going to end up being the reason the scoreboard looks the way it looks when it hits 0-0. All I'm telling you, if you're dependent upon that same fear, we've had players from 2000. Brandon Wimbush talked about being spooked on the bus when Miami fans were shaking the bus. So we know certain players and that culture and that team, they weren't ready to go into that atmosphere in 2017. This is not that. Ladies and gents, this is not that. You just heard the head coach. Like, what? Yeah, we got dogs. Let's get it. Oh, you got a first-time starter at quarterback. He's a dog. Let's get it. All we have to do is stop Jeremiah Love. We got another dog right behind him in Jadarian Price.
That's what I'm saying. We have so much
right behind him in Aeneas Williams. Another dog right behind him in Nolan James, who, by the way, looking at the depth chart, because we're going to talk about that on the way out. Look at the depth chart. Jabron Payne's not even the fourth running back, left. It's the true freshman.
It's a true freshman.
It's the true freshman. That's crazy. That's crazy. Indy Newton fan, given the current NIL landscape, what values or experiences do you suspect student athletes are missing out of? I know that was probably for Tony Indy Milton fan. I wanted to make sure I put it on the screen because you took the time to give us a super chat. We just wanted to show our appreciation. Left, you want to take that with the NIL landscape? You know, are there certain aspects of the student athlete experience that players are missing out on, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't get a chance to take part in it. I'm still waiting on this settlement, my dang self. So, you know, I'm sure it's
you got grandfathered in. You got grandfathered in. So
for a nice, healthy couple dollars. Whereas, you know, shout out to Jeremiah Love, just signed with Icy Hot. I mean, Shaq is the only person I think of that got something like that, and you got it in college. So NIL is sweet for these guys, and man, the what ifs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And shout out to my brother, Jared Payton, who is, you know, big time Miami alum, national champion with that 2001 squad. And he had JP is the interview. He went down to South Bend last week and did an incredible interview with Marcus Freeman. And I'm not sure if it's been released yet. If it has been released, JP, throw it in the chat. Throw the link in the chat so everybody can go check it out. Jared Payton, Chicago's own, right here, WGN TV. You can watch him every night. WGN Sports with Sharky, my girl Sharky over there. They do a great job covering everything. And it's bear season, so he's gearing up for that. But I just want to tell you right now, bro, don't take it personal Sunday night. You know I love you, my brother. Just don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. I don't think he wants to watch the game with me, Left. We had talked about watching the game together Sunday night.
No, it'll be over too fast. I don't think he needs all that.
The last time Jared and I watched a Notre Dame Miami game together, we were together at Soldier Field when Miami came to Soldier Field, and it didn't go quite well for Miami. I'll just leave it at that. Ev had a hell of a game. That game in 2012. I think my bro might be running from me. But no, in all seriousness,
You know the
man,
whooping that's coming. They know the whooping that's coming.
Tell him. He's in the chat. Tell him, Lee. Tell him,
Yeah.
Lefty. He knows the
JP,
whooping that's coming.
it's best to watch this in your man cave, JP. Just make sure you board your TV up with a bunch of bubble wrap. You know, you make sure your remotes they don't have the hard edges on them. You make sure your couch is nice and comfy, because you're gonna be trying to jump out your seat, and we need you to be relaxed because this is gonna be a slow walkthrough, nice beating on the season. You know they want to christen y'all the right way. Y'all gonna have a successful season, but right now this is not about y'all. This is Notre Dame's coming out party. College football reserved Sunday just for us. Y'all just happen to come. Y'all just happen to get a ticket to the best show on Sunday.
Left is talking his talk. Ladies and gentlemen, Miami fans, if you're new to this, hey, Left is gonna talk his talk, man. He's taking on entire fan bases. He took on the Penn State fan base all by himself. He took on and he grew up in Ohio and took on the Buckeye fan base and media and ex-coaches all by himself and didn't budge. Even after the game was over, didn't move 1 inch. He said congratulations and was like, I'm still talking trash. Hey, if you're new to this is MALIK ZAIRE, bro. He is all about Notre Dame. He is all about Notre Dame and everything Ohio. Notre Dame and everything Ohio.
We just got to give credit to where credit's due. This is a baby program. They talk about we had jumbo players. I didn't even know that was a thing. If we got jumbo players, what do they got? Not big enough. So it's going to be hopefully they can stay healthy. I know depth wears on the team, but they're going to be excited. I'm not going to say we're just going to steamroll them, but they're going to come out excited and beating their chest out, and then they realize that it's a 60-minute, 4-quarter game. And it's just going to be tough to stop the Irish off 4 quarters. You may have a good game plan. Y'all may get a couple 3-and-outs. Hell, CJ may fumble the snap because it's wet or he's nervous. It can happen. But what's going to happen at the end of the game, I'm thinking end of 3rd quarter, we're going to be talking about what's some other leads in the production studio to talk about, because this is over with. This is over with. So it's a nice send-off for, the team in the ACC to be an ACC team and for us to show teams that we are national contenders once again.
Yeah, once again, 6:30 Chicago time. Hey, Hard Rock going to be rocking again. We already had it rocking back in January. So, we plan on rocking it again. That's the plan. Lucky Lefty podcast. But Left, you are funny, bro. You are the best doing it right now. I don't care if it's food analogies, phrases. You are the best doing it right now, bro.
They are my pizza. But we here, man. It's gonna be nice. They said they couldn't sell out the arena, of course, because Miami people they're not serious about this. This is real football fandom.
All right. Here's the depth chart. I pulled it up. I'm not sure how many people can see it. We'll get to it. As we said before, at the boundary, you have Malachi Fields, Micah Gilbert, and Cam Williams. Jaden Greathouse, Will Pauling at the slot, along with Logan Sadate. And then at the field, you're going to have Jordan Faison, KK Smith, and Elijah Burris. Starting quarterback CJ Carr, Kenny Minchey, the backup, with Tyler Buckner as your 3rd-string quarterback. That is a story, Left. I'm sorry.
It's
that
an underrated.
Right there is an amazing story. That right there is an amazing story. Running back, as we said before, Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, and Aeneas Williams. And then Nolan James Jr., the true freshman.
He must be nice.
Oh,
he must be
left. He's nice, bro. He's nice, bro. He's one of those smooth, really smooth dudes. Like I said, I was standing next there watching him run through drills, and he did something, and Coach Sider literally said, "We finally found something that you couldn't do." And this was like 2 weeks into camp. It's like 2 weeks into camp. So offensive line, Anthony Knapp, Billy Shrout, Ashton Craig, and then you have Gerby Lambert or Sullivan Absher. And then Gerby Lambert is also the backup right tackle. Joe Audience, the backup center. Christopher Tarrick, local kid here out of the Chicagoland area. I'm super proud for this dude to be the backup left guard. He came in as a tackle. More than likely, we knew he was going to move the guard, but he battled injuries, especially early during this time in Notre Dame. It's really good to see him getting to that top 2 at the left guard position. Super excited to see him, get in games, just get some time. The tight ends. We're going to play clips of Marcus Freeman talking about his tight ends. He said his tight ends are one of the groups that surprised him the most. We know Kevin Bauman went down. It was going to really be a celebration for the Bauman family because his brother plays tight end for Miami as well. Kevin Bauman's out for the season and has retired from football. But outside of that, Eli Raridan is a dude. This is what Notre Dame does. They produce tight ends as par for the course, right? Eli Raridan's a dude, but he said Ty Washington, the transfer from Arkansas, has definitely been a standout along with Jack Larson at the tight end position. And we still have James Flanagan, the freshman, who is uber talented at tight end. We go to the defensive side of the ball left, and are you surprised that Jason Onye is a starting interior defensive lineman? No one should be surprised.
Talking about the 3-time spring MVP?
Yes, yeah, that be him. He is him. And he's overcome a lot of personal things. I'm just, he's another story just like Tyler Buckner, man. You just love hearing really good stories about young men persevering at Notre Dame. Boubacar Traore, back, healthy. Marcus Freeman also announced that Jordan Botelho is good to go game 1. He's good to go. Our best defensive ends and pass rushers are back from injury and ready to go. Boubacar is your starting Viper. Jason Onye, your starting defensive tackle, along with Donovan Heinisch. Backing them up is Gabriel Rubio and Jared Dawson, the transfer from Louisville, and then Elijah Hughes, the transfer from USC. Bryce Young, Josh Burnham, Logan Thomas are your defensive ends. Your will linebackers, Jalen Sneed, Jay Nosberry, Madden Faramo. The Mike, Drake Bowen, team captain, Kingston Bialumu Asa, Madden Faramo, nickel, Devontae Smith and Carson Hobbs, along with Ben Minich. Your field corners, Leonard Moore, freshman Dallas Golden, and Chance Tucker. Now, this is interesting because the boundary safety is Adon Schuler and Luke Talich, who was in the running for field safety for a long time. He's your backup at boundary safety now with freshman Ethan Long. And then the field safety, Jalen Stroman, the transfer from Virginia Tech, and Tay Johnson, the star. Now, Tay Johnson, prior to injury, was neck and neck with Leonard Moore. Backup Benjamin Morrison. He gets injured. Leonard Moore ends up getting the job once Benjamin Morrison's out for the year. And then the next thing you know, Tay comes back end of the season, and he's the backup to Leonard Moore. Now, Tay is pretty much a chess piece. You're going to see him in the nickel. You're going to see him at that field safety position. He can, like I said, he was the backup to Leonard Moore at the boundary defensive back position. He really is going to be someone that they use in a lot of different ways. I think he's going to be a tremendous chess piece for Chris Ash. Then you have Ethan Long, who is third string safety for boundary and field. You go to the field corner, Christian Gray, Mark Zachary, and Creed Thomas. So that's the depth chart. I like seeing Bryce Young. The fact that Bryce Young took that defensive end job and he's over Josh Burnham lets me know how he's progressed. I love, nothing's given to him. He had to play as a freshman because of injuries to Botello and Traore. He was forced into action. He was a beast on special teams, block punts. I think he had a couple of those. He had a tip punt. He was a beast on punt coverage, a beast on kickoff coverage. You're talking about a kid that's like 6'4", 260. On special teams, forced into action. He's definitely got better with his pass rush, his counter moves, gotten stronger, can really anchor against the run much better than he was able to last year. I think that's really what elevated him in front of Josh Burnham. You knew the quickness he brought off the edge, the length he has, the talent he has to get after the passer, but being able to be impactful in the run game is what the staff really wanted to see from him. So I don't really think there were any surprises, in my opinion. No surprises, in my opinion. I think Notre Dame, the roster's deep. Great competitions all over the place. Not shocked to see Malachi Fields, Jaden Greathouse, and Jordan Faison be the three guys, the first three wide receivers, with Will Paulding being part of that combination that might run out for the first play. Notre Dame, Miami, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, Hard Rock Stadium. It is what it is. Notre Dame, you got a lot of work to do. There's still a lot to prove, man. Great season last year. It's 2025. It's a brand new season. You got a lot to prove. And it starts Sunday night. Marcus Freeman, can you eliminate the bad losses to teams that you have no business losing to? Can you have back-to-back seasons where Notre Dame are true national title contenders? You got to prove it. You have to prove it. Is this defense going to be as good under Chris Ash as it has been under Al Golden in the two previous seasons? We have to see it. Marcus Freeman, are you going to take the challenge and enter into that top echelon of college football head coaches? It's right there for you. Are you going to be able to do it? CJ Carr, are you going to end the curse? Notre Dame quarterbacks not being able to pass for over 3,000 yards. It's been a long time, my friend, as a first-time starter. Can you get it done? Notre Dame still has a lot to prove. They still have a lot to prove. And everybody and their mama, as they say in the barbershop, on phoneme, as they say in Chicago, everybody's going to be watching Sunday night. Everybody else plays Saturday. Everybody else is going to be watching on Sunday. Let me tell you something. College football knew what they were doing, because they gave us Texas and Ohio State to jump it off on Saturday. And they're giving us Notre Dame and Miami to end the weekend on Sunday night. That right there, if you can't get hyped with that, 11 o'clock Saturday, Texas, Ohio State, and your nightcap on Sunday heading into the holiday is Notre Dame and Miami. And the NFL is right around the corner. Yep. Favorite time of year as a sports fan. Favorite time of the year as a sports fan. Shout out to the legend, Notre Dame great, national championship quarterback, Tony Rice, for joining us right here tonight.
That's right. And the Jaguar season. Don't forget the Jags coming to you live. Travis Hunter, two-way player phenomenon. Jack Kaiser holding it down.
I can't believe you're trying to plug the Jacksonville Jaguars right now on this show, bro. Come on, man. You guys forgive him. You're not going to say anything about your Cleveland Browns? You guys will come to learn Malik has like 2 teams per sport. Every sport, he has like 2 teams that he roots for. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Go, subscribe, YouTube, hit the thumbs up. We appreciate it. Leave your comments, questions. We respond to all. TikTok, Twitter, X, Instagram, and Lucky Lefty Pod. Left will be going live tomorrow on the TikTok. Go follow us on TikTok right now. He'll be going live on TikTok, answering all your questions and talking more about this matchup and the quarterback situation on TikTok tomorrow. And I think that's it, Left. I think that's it. Great show. Shout out to Tony Rice once again. Miami fans, we appreciate you. You're more than welcome to join us each and every night. As long as you're respectful, that's all we want to do. Disagree, debate, but always show respect and love one another. That's what we're all about right here, LL Nation, Lucky Lefty Pod.
I'll be there.
For Left, SD2 mics. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have Kenton Gibbs and the first episode of 4 for 40 with Reggie Brooks. It will not be live. It's going to be recorded, and the audio will post on tomorrow. The audio will post tomorrow, and then the video will post a couple of days after that. 440 with Reggie Brooks right here on Lucky Lefty Network. You can go tap in Apple Podcasts and Spotify for that over Bleav Network. So for Left, SD2 mics, have a great evening. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you tomorrow with Ken Gibbs to preview Miami, ACC, and everything that is college football right here at Lucky Lefty Podcast. For Left, always make sure you continue to spin it
different.